We are live for the opening race of the round of 12 of the NASCAR 21 Ignition Custom Schedule season. And for the first time ever on the channel, we head to the Michigan International Speedway for the Firekeepers Casino 400. It's an afternoon race, bright sunny day, 71 degrees, cooler climate temperatures here today. We'll see how these drivers can handle this very fast racetrack, nicknamed the fastest track in NASCAR. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we make our way into this one. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a fun race today. My home track, so I always love racing at Michigan on these NASCAR video games. And this one, with it being playoff edition, is going to mean much, much more. On the left side of your screen tonight, you will see the points standings as they run coming into the race today. So these are the up-to-date point standings for the start of the round of 12. The three races in this round will insist of Michigan here today. And then tomorrow night, we will end up running the second race of the round for the first time ever on the custom schedule season at Homestead. And then Daytona under the lights at the end of the week. And that race is going to be wild, of course, 400 miles set for that one, 160 laps on the high bank. So that is a wild round of 12. We'll check out the starting lineup for today's race. Tyler Reddick will be starting on the pole of the playoff drivers. He sits below the cutoff line, 4 points to the negative, so good starting spot for him. Great qualifying run. Eric Jones will start outside pole in second. Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski in row 2. Keselowski, remember, missed the 16-man playoff. Probably one of the more, I'd probably say the biggest upset as far as not making the playoffs. But Denny Hamlin starts inside of row 3. Of course, the regular season champ. Didn't have a great opening round, but it'll look to bounce back in round 2. Justin Haley, Corey LaJoie in row 3. Brendan Gaughan, I should say Noah Gragson for points purposes. And Josh Bilicki in row 4. Bilicki was one of the wild card entries into the round of 16, but he was eliminated in the round of 16 in that opening round. Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott will be back in row 5 for the start of today's race for Hendrick Motorsports. Both drivers made their way into the round of 12. So, thank you for everybody tuning in here today. Again, this should be a pretty wild race to say the least. Southern Farms, Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Our driver, Christopher Bell, will be starting at the rear of the field. No qualifying, very little practice scheduled for today's race, so we'll see what he can do from the back of the pack. Green flag is in the air. We're underway at Michigan. The draft is going to be a most of huge importance in this race. Without the draft, it is very hard to break 185 miles an hour in the draft. We'll see speeds in the mid-190s. They're going to be very patient in this one, has to be, knowing that he almost was eliminated in the round of 16 as the number 2 seed. Only made it to this round by just 7 points. I was looking at the chat. I messed that up. There's a huge pole to the left at this track, a lot more than a lot of others. I can't believe I did that. I don't want to restart the race, but I did just mess that up big time. I was looking at the chat and it just was in the grass all of a sudden. You know, if the game didn't make the car pull that far to the left down the straightaway, that probably wouldn't happen. Well, we lost the draft already. 3 wide towards the back. Oh, man, they're stacking up big time off turn 4. It is nothing but 2 and 3 wide racing towards the front of the field as well. A lot of full throttle racing at Michigan. Because we have not raced here yet, we'll have to wait and see if on the long run it's still going to be a lot of full throttle racing. And how the handling of the cars will change, of course, over the long run as well. It tends to get a lot tighter with the 550 package racetracks. But this is the first time we've been on a 2-mile racetrack this season. The other 550 tracks, excluding Pocono, were 1.5 miles. And even Pocono was 2.5 miles, and it was a triangular-shaped racetrack. Bell is slowly closing it in on the pack ahead of him, though, so He'll pick up this time eventually. It's going to be a little bit. Even the back marker car is running very fast speeds in the draft. Bell's going to want to be patient making passes anyway. Kevin Harvick, another playoff driver who I guess qualified towards the back of the field. Back at 39th. Miss TW. Yeah, I do too. For sure. I remember how weird it was him. Those first couple races really Fox had in 2020 where there was no boogity going on before the start of a race. And it just felt odd. Just like it kind of felt odd those first couple races without Larry McReynolds in the booth back in 2016 when Gordon first filled in. It took like a good 5-6 races for me to get used to it. Very easy to get the car out of shape from only 4 laps of practice that I did. Didn't mess with the setup at all. It's another reason why Bell is going to be very patient in this race today. He'd like to be up there with the pack so he can have some drafting help. That's going to help him not only save fuel, but again, at least keep up to speed. If I wasn't looking at the chat off the exit of turn 4 and was in the grass, it wouldn't have happened, but it's alright. Keeping the race car hopefully spotless here today. Bell knows how much of an importance it would be to win this race and not even have to worry about what would happen in the next 2 races. He came so close to winning the playoff opener at New Hampshire, leading over 200 laps en route to a 9th place finish. He ran out of gas with, well, really coming to 2 laps to go when he ran out of fuel, so about 2 miles short. That was the difference in him finishing 1st and 9th, but at least he was able to get a top 10, again, making the round of 12 by just 7 points. That could have been a big difference. He could have very easily finished outside the top 10, was very lucky to rally those last 2 laps, have a quick enough pit stop, not get stuck on pit road any longer to be able to survive to that kind of a finish. Really big pack right now that is looking like it's the back half of the top 10, probably all the way back to close to 30th place. There's a breakaway of about a half a dozen cars up ahead of them, and then you have about a little over half a dozen cars at this back pack. Maybe a little more than a half dozen. I'd probably say about 8 or 9 cars roughly in this back group. Bell's trying to catch, and he was catching there for a couple laps, but now he's starting to lose a little bit more ground. He was about 0.2 of a second slower that last lap. You know, in those stages, this could potentially be a fuel mileage race today. We've seen a lot of fuel mileage races at Michigan with the 400-mile race length. The only years that 400 miles was not the race length at Michigan was the 2020 season for both races. And that was because they ran a doubleheader due to COVID. And now just 1 race on the schedule in the 2021 and now also in the 2022 season. And only 1 date on this custom schedule season as well. But this 1 date is important. It is a playoff date. And it is a little bit later in the playoffs, in the opening race of the round of 12. Again, this keeps Bell out of trouble, so I'm actually kind of okay with running last right now. I know once we get into the draft, we'll be competitive. If we can get there, that's the problem. And it will get more spaced out on the green flag pit stop, so it'll be interesting to see if certain drivers are going to make their way into some heavy drafting areas after pit stops. Obviously, restarts are going to get absolutely chaotic, as they usually are at Michigan, but with this game, and again, the draft playing a very big importance, as it usually does at Michigan anyway, no matter the package, but extremely important with the 550 package. Less than a second now behind Cody Ware at the back of the pack. Ware was also eliminated in the round of 16 of the playoffs. He's the final car on the grid of the 16-man playoff, 15 points even behind his teammate Balicki. Those two made it off of randomization finishing orders at COTA and at the Charlotte Roval back in the regular season. Ran out of gas at both those races. Oh my goodness, the car just snapped loose off of turn 2 for Christopher Bell. No chance to save it, and he's in the inside retaining wall after a long, long slide. How did the car just snap around like that? And now he's trying to get corrected back in the right direction, but because the game has you spin out when you're on the gas, I don't believe there's a tire down on the 20. But obviously some very significant damage to the race car. I don't know how I just lost control like that. That just completely snapped left off the exit of turn 2. You know, I don't want to restart, but I did say I should have restarted after lap 1 when I was looking at the chat. I was in the grass, and we still didn't catch the back of the pack, and I kind of want to. I know you guys are going to tell me to. It's just my heart is telling me not to. But I think because I was looking at the chat, only because I was in the grass on lap 1 and lost the draft to begin with, is the only reason I'm restarting. And the only reason I was down there is because I was looking at the chat. Not blaming you guys in the chat, but I'm actually kind of blaming the game because of I wouldn't have been in the grass anyway. I usually look at the chat on the straightaways, but the car pulls so far to the left on this game, and I was in the tri-oval, so you already have to go left. What in the blue hell happened there? I don't know. I thought this was the 550 package. The cars are not supposed to get that loose. I'm not going to change the setup, though. I'll be fair with that. I'll go in with the same setup I started the race with. Okay, I guess we get a little bit of a reset. Get back to the far chase cam. Oh, man. Well, that makes me nervous. You have to be so delicate with the analog stick when you don't have stability help on in this game. Even on the 550 tracks, which I didn't think really mattered as much. Just wait till we get into dirty air. I mean, that's one thing we haven't had to deal with yet. Oh, Bell trying to stay in the draft. Getting up to speed quickly now. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Bell lifting on entry into 3. Probably doesn't have to lift, but they are stacking up 2 by 2 in front of him, trying to stay in the draft again with Matt DiBenedetto on the high side. Not going to be overly aggressive here. Giant pack of cars. He's on the inside of DiBenedetto. Really able to draft with Kevin Harvick down on the bottom. Look at Harvick and Bell making moves. Bell tight in the dirty air. This is already dangerous. We're only on lap 2. I'm not restarting again. That was a one-time deal. That was a one-time deal. I was doing my thing. What happened? I don't know. It's because the game pulls the car so far to the left. So I must have just was on the analog stick too far to the left off the exit of 2. It just pulled straight down into the infield retaining wall. It was really strange. I've never had that happen, especially on a 5... Well, I have had it happen, but not on a 550 track. 3 wide, and the Stewart-Haas cars get together. Almirola and Harvick. Timmy Hill on the outside of him. Harvick is swaying back and forth. He's trying to block the 10 of Almirola. Bell's coming in with a major amount of speed. He does not want to go 3 wide. He saw Harvick taking 3 wide. Bell knows that a little bit of contact is going to spin the car out, especially at these high speeds in this game. So he let DiBenedetto go by on the outside. Bell's got a pretty big run down to the bottom. He's going to take it 3 wide in the tri-oval, but he should clear Almirola. We got to put the sucker hole in the middle. DiBenedetto with the drafting help up high behind Wallace. Back in the field is spacing apart a lot more quick than the front of the field right now. I thought we passed a lot more cars. I guess Almirola's in last and Bell is second to last in 39th. Bubba Wallace pulled out of line trying to make a move. He lost a lot of ground with doing that. Bell going to try to find some clean air to the outside. Is he going to be able to carry this run off of turn 4? He's going to try. He'll hop to the bottom underneath Matt DiBenedetto in the 21. Bubba Wallace pulling out of line to try and make a pass on the 66. Big block by Wallace on the outside of DiBenedetto now. as they roll into turns 1 and 2. Bell lifting early. He was thinking Timmy Hill was going to pull down to the bottom. He didn't, so Bell literally just lifted for no reason. And he'll hop back in line in front of Almirola behind Benedetto. So this is dangerous, definitely starting at the back, especially with no practice. Bell moves down to block Almirola down the straightaway. He'll hold full throttle into 3 and 4. Side by side between Wallace and Hill. Benedetto down on the inside lane. Big draft off turn 4 for Bell as he pulls to the inside. Cleared Benedetto in the tri-oval. He has a chance to move up to side draft Wallace. He doesn't want to be too aggressive with the side draft early. Wallace almost pulled down and blocked him. Bell broke the throttle. He didn't roll all the way out of the gas, so he didn't lose too much momentum, but he's able to slide back in on the outside with Timmy Hill behind him. And Benedetto pulling out of line, by the way, fell all the way back to last. Almirola got around him. Oh, my goodness. Car got a little wiggly that time in the center of the corner. Bell got the left side tires down on the paint. But he was able to hold on, stay in the gas, and make his way around Bubba Wallace for position. Look at that pack up there. I really hope there's no giant wreck that Bell's going to have to miss, but it is looking dangerous. The worst part is these cars behind Bell are going to be able to get a really good draft down these straightaways. Bell's not close enough behind Kevin Harvick in the 4 to get a draft off of him in 35th. But there was a lot of... They were nearly 4 wide now in turns 3 and 4. And we could be awaiting our first caution in the early going of this playoff race at Michigan. Bell going to the bottom, trying to break the draft, making sure Wallace isn't going to get too big of a run on him. But the other 3 might be able to link up and work their way around Bell if Bell gets too far out ahead of him. Bell's going to stand on the gas right now, though, because he's got no reason not to. He's going to have to watch the run on the inside. And if they do have a big enough run and get underneath him, then there they go. So Bell just kind of protects the bottom into turn 3. He pulled out of line early. Wallace decided to instead hop to the bottom. He stayed on the outside. Takes the longer way around in turns 3 and 4. Bell will stay low, trying to break the draft, going all the way down to the apron into the tri-oval. He's going as low as he possibly can. No out of bounds at Michigan. It's Anthony Alfredo in the 38 car now. A little bit of drafting help off the exit of turn 2 for Christopher Bell. Hops to the bottom now on Alfredo. This is going to stack them up side by side. Wallace has a big run. He's going to go with Bell. And a lot of clean air in front of Bell now, and he's about 2 seconds behind Harvick all of a sudden, who has reached the lead pack. It looks like there's a 2 to 3 car breakaway, and then 4th on back is... I mean, there's literally 31 cars in that pack. I mean, this is looking like Daytona Talladega up there. 3 by 3 in the middle. Looks like there's a couple of cars getting sandwiched. Bell minding his own time. I guess it's a good thing we didn't qualify, because if we would have qualified in the middle of that, I guarantee I would have wrecked out already. I guarantee it. Oh my goodness. Note to self, when I get to Michigan in the career mode, don't qualify. Just start last. Might be safer. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream. 15 people watch right now. 5 likes already. Can't read. Hit that like button, everybody. You might see a big one at Michigan. If it takes out half the field and gives Bell an automatic top 20 finish, I'd be all right with it. You know, the points he can get in case he doesn't get a win in the round. He does come in 20 points above the cutoff line to the number 2 seed again. That's the good thing with the reset in each round, because he is not going to start where he left off 7 points above the cutoff line. Heck, actually, it would be below the cutoff line considering all the drivers in front of him. Now, that pack, you would think would be faster, but with them going 2 and 3 wide, they're actually side drafting each other enough, slowing each other down, probably why nobody can really break away from this pack, and Christopher Bell is closing in. I don't even know if I'm going to want to make any moves when I get to the back of that pack. I think it's wise just to sit back. And they're going to tempt me because there's going to be some checkups, but Dirty air will likely be a factor in the middle of the corners as well, I'd have to imagine. Bell's still standing on the gas full throttle right now. He's not quite close enough to get to the dirty air that time in 3 and 4. And he's going to have a giant run to the back of the pack now that he's got the draft and the trial. But look at the run, over 190 miles an hour at the start-finish line already. And they are almost 4 wide right in front of him. Problem is now, if they wreck, he might be in it. He's going to lift quite a bit getting into 1 and 2. The car just steps out from underneath him. It does it again. Bell slides, noses it into the outside wall. He's trying to not get ran over from behind. Why is the car turning to the right? I don't know how Bell just lost control of the car there. Okay, we're right back to where we were before we had that reset, so I guess that serves us even. I don't know why it just stepped out like that. Like, dirty air should make the car tight, not loose. That's the same thing that happened earlier. It just doesn't make any sense. The physics are all out of whack at this track. It's not like that on the other 550. The only 550 track I can think of that's like that is Charlotte, for whatever reason. Charlotte was the same way. Oh my goodness. It's getting mad loose off turn 2. I had to lift. I was going to have to survive the run. Well, now he's back to last place again. Turns 3 and 4, it's not that bad. Oh my gosh. You guys probably didn't see anything, but I guarantee if you saw something, I'd be spinning. You have to have such a quick reaction time as Bell did that time off turn 2 to lift, and this is just unstable conditions right now, and he's by himself at Michigan with the 550 package. He may be pitting to tighten it up very soon, because I don't think we're going to make it too long without wrecking. He is catching up to Anthony Alfredo, who has completely lost the draft all by himself right now. The track, he goes on entry into the corner, driving the outside for the moment. Problem is, it pulls so far down to the left, I can't make any adjustments down the straightaway. Because I guarantee with how loose the car is, if I try to do that, we're going to wreck. He's got to run. He's going to try to pass Alfredo here first. See if Anthony might be able to cling on. 2 cars may be faster than 1 at Michigan. That's a pass for 39th. Bell gets back by Alfredo again. Oh my gosh. This is insane. There's no way we're going to make it. There's no way. When you hit lap 10, it's just... the car is done. I don't know if the game audio is up loud enough that you can hear me lifting, but it is... not good. I just don't see us making it too much longer. We're going to have to make some major adjustments to tighten this thing up. Try to. Hopefully it works. Alright, so probably going to put... I'm going to put 2.5 rounds of wedge into the car. Try and help tighten it up. This could be a fuel mileage race today. Bell does not want a short pit if he can help it. Trying to make it to lap 40, but it is going to be very, very difficult here today at Michigan. Definitely pulling away from Anthony Alfredo behind him. He's already 2.5 seconds ahead of him. The problem is, after spinning off the exit of, I should say, right in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and he did get the wall, but not hard enough to blow a tire, luckily, and there's barely any damage. So it's not damage that's affecting the handling of the race car. But if he can catch a caution right now, That would be ideal. Well, the problem is if we get a caution, we're probably going to get trapped a lap down. So I guess it's better it stays green. I don't know what I want at this point. Travis Glant, welcome to the stream. Oh, now it's getting loose off 4. Okay, we're pitting. Oh, what a pit road entry. Oh my goodness, what a save by Bell. I couldn't make any adjustments though, that's the problem. We'll try. We'll see if the adjustments will be made. Oh, I didn't serve the stop. The pit stop was not served for... I did not do that. Okay, caution's out. Whatever. Caution's out. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on right now. This is insane. Massive amount of wedge going into the car. 3 rounds of wedge. Hopefully the car's not damaged too much. I don't know why it didn't pit us. It was probably because we were speeding. No damage repair, 4 tires, fuel. Bell's got a little bit of damage to the right front after that spin, but it could have been way worse than what it was. I don't know why the car turned to the right coming out of the pits like that. We got lucky we didn't get clobbered. 10 out of 10 on that. Massive adjustments coming up to try and tighten the car. If this doesn't work, there's no way we're getting to the end. Green flag back in the air, Michigan. Bell is at least 1 lap down, running, I think, 35th it looks like. So he's not the only one that got trapped a lap down for some reason. Bell was legitimately a lap down. The bad thing is we might be 2 laps down. Bell tried tightening the race car up. And he's going to try to stay in the draft on this restart. Oh, what is up with the track? Looks like it is raining in turn 3. Side by side for the lead between Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney following the first caution and now the first restart of the race. Bell's got clean. Just gets cleaned out by Bubba Wallace. What was that? Caution is out again. Take a half around the wedge out of the race car. That car is all sorts of crinkled up now. That's a pretty hard crash in turns 1 and 2 after Bubba Wallace has just turned Christopher Bell. Not a good start to the playoffs for Christopher Bell. Boise State blue turf in turn 3, I guess. John, welcome to the stream. Zachary Schuschman, Boss Brody, welcome. Bell is struggling out of the gate. The problem is, I don't know how many laps down Bell is. He scored in last. Heavy damage to the race car after Bubba Wallace has turned him in turn 3. What is it? Why is the game doing this? I swear, I'm trying to keep my cool. Why is it turning to the right? It did that when I came out of the pits the first time, too. Is there a pit road glitch at Michigan that I don't know about? I have not raced here until today. Until this stream, I have not raced here. So let me know down in the comment section if you have NASCAR 21 Ignition, if there's a pit road glitch at Michigan that makes the car turn to the right after you make a pit stop. Because I cannot get the car... First, we were mad loose before the caution came out for whatever reason on a 550 track. After 10 laps. It ran fine for 10 laps, and then after that, I was blipping the throttle. I spun. I saved the car, made it to the pits, made it through the pit lane, did not pit me. Then I make another stop, and then after I come out of the pit to turn straight right into the field, everybody missed us. We get a caution. The car's not that damaged, okay. We'll make our adjustments. We'll tighten it up. If we're a lap down, so be it. Restart a lap down, at least 1 lap down. We might be 2 laps down because of the scoring error. And then after the scoring error, potentially, we're running on the restart. We get about a lap and a half into the restart. Bubba Wallace turns us. Because the AI have no sensual awareness when you're running side by side to 3 wide. We weren't even side by side. We were just running by ourselves in front of the pack. He had a big run because of the draft, and he turned us. After we got turned, we had another restart. Right off the restart, the car turned straight right. Like I had a blown tire or something. Damaged the car even more. Get to another restart. Repaired more damage. Made more adjustments. Trying to fix the car. And what does it do right there again? It turns to the right. Automatically. Like, I don't even have to hit the gas. I guarantee it's going to turn to the right. But there's a natural pull to the left, so you're already trying to turn right just to keep the car straight. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I see a comment saying Michigan's the worst. I'm guessing you probably played Michigan at this game. Played it earlier, but I never noticed. Never pitted, so I never noticed. Yeah, gotcha. I don't blame you. Pit stops kind of break the game. Cautions break the game. The game breaks the game. Everything breaks the game. The only other thing I could do is turn stability on. I don't want to do that for the 550 tracks. I don't do that on the 550 tracks, but I had to do it at Charlotte because the car was super loose. I don't want to do that now because I already started the race. And I don't like restarting the race. But I don't want to finish last because then we're probably going to have to win a race, one of the next 2 races to get in. And one of the races is Daytona, which we have a top 10, and then we also have a DNF in the 2 Daytona races so far. And that's even if the speed glitch, we could have a speed glitch 5 laps in where I just lag offline. What game lags offline? There's my rant, I guess. I was holding it back, and then after the 4th time, it's just like, at what point do I, like, just... We're probably like 3... You see, every time we have to pit, I guarantee we're going a lap down. I guarantee. The problem is I can't check the leaderboard's not accurate. It doesn't tell us how many laps down we are. We're not going to know until the end of the race that we're 5 laps down. Scale of 1 to 10. I'll give Ignition a 7. You're generous. You are very generous. Game is not bad. The game is terrible. I disagree with you wholeheartedly, Terry. I think you're giving the game way too much credit. It has good moments, yes. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it like a 3. 3.5. At its best racing, I don't even think I'd give it a 10. Everybody's checking up on the restart. Oh my goodness, now the sky's glitching. What is this? At least the car didn't turn straight to the right that time.
Got one right. Clear.
Well, somehow Eric Almirola's behind us. Still got water on the track in turns 3 and 4. Oh. We got some cars pitting after the... 1 lap after the restart. So they checked up. Oh my gosh. There's going to be a wreck in the trioval because of that. Yeah, we've lost some significant speed. I mean, they are just blowing right by us. Oh my gosh, it turned right again. You gotta be joking me. It just turned right into the wall. Middle of the straightaway. I was already against the wall, so it wasn't like I could catch it. And it just spun right out as soon as I hit the wall. How do you spin out when you hit the wall on the straightaway in a video game? I've never had that before. Why is there no fans in the tri-oval at Michigan? Look at the front stretch seating. There's no fans there. This game's all out of whack. Well, we knew that already. I think I'm gonna... Again, I don't like restarting it, but... we gotta throw stability on. I've gotta throw stability on. We're just gonna keep wrecking the rest of the race. We're just gonna keep wrecking the rest of the race. I guarantee it. And we gotta hope the car just doesn't turn to the right. This is it. I mean, it turned it on to medium just to be safe. I usually have it on low, but we'll turn it to medium. I'm not gonna turn traction control on though. We'll start last again. That's that blue emu-like substance on the racetrack. That's funny. I like that comment. Cheers to Games. Welcome to the stream. Your PETA made clothes out of humans? What? I give this game a minus 23,000. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Not gonna get this game. Gonna get NASCAR for the Switch instead. I mean, you guys have said good things about Switch that do have it. So that's good to hear. At least there's a playable NASCAR, playable, somewhat up-to-date NASCAR game.
Alex Hayden, welcoming you to the Irish Hills of Michigan.
I wish I had. I wish I had a playable, up-to-date NASCAR game.
This race is a huge priority for all of the manufacturers, especially for...
You know, this game almost makes me take back everything I said about NASCAR Heat 5. Like, that's how bad this game is. If we could just get the tracks, the 2021 schedule on NASCAR Heat 5. All the paint schemes from this season, 2021. Get everything up to date. All the drivers in the right cars. Could we just update that? Could we update that? I mean, at least the game has good physics. In my opinion, better physics. I wouldn't say... I'd say good. I'd say good physics. Not great, but good. I think that's a reasonable expectation. Westman, welcome to the stream. I wouldn't even get the next NASCAR game for Motorsport Games until you see improvement off of this one. Serious improvement. I'm not just talking a small step up. I mean, we need... I don't know why I went to the settings. But... Alright. Well, at least Kevin Harvick's on the pole now. I did completely randomize starting order up. For sake of the stream, Tyler Reddick is still going to be on the pole for the start of this race, and we're still going to say Harvick started 39. For consistency's sake. All right, I got stability on. I didn't want to do it for Michigan. I did not practice. If I would have given myself enough time to practice before this, I probably would have caught this issue, and I would have just had minimal stability on like I did with Charlotte. But I was editing the career mode video for that already uploaded. You can go check that out. Much better race than this. But all right, let's see. Well, we're stacking up on the start here. Green flag is in the air at Michigan for the final time.
Clear.
Now it's wanting to pull to the right really bad with the stability on, but which I kind of expected that. I didn't expect that in the trial. It's not pulling to the right down the straightaway, but in the trial, well, it definitely is. It's going to be tough to hang on to the draft now. Let's see what Christopher Bell can do. Lap 1 in the books. 2x2 action at the rear of the field. Raymond Toohey, welcome to the stream. I don't know why I lifted there. Hopefully Bell does not lose the draft after lifting turns 1 and 2. And he's still in the draft enough. He's going to lift as he pulls closer to the pack behind him. Keselowski steps out of line, 3 wide off the exit of turn 4 and tight. He's going to go all the way down to the apron right now to try and make sure he doesn't get side drafted super heavily by Keselowski. Does not want to be 3 wide on entry into turn 1 if he could help it. Keselowski wanted to go 3 wide up the middle, just ran right in the side of the 20. See, we would have spun out with no stability on. It's probably the best bet for us. We'll see when it gets to lap 10, because that's when it was really bad. But I guarantee our race would have ended right there if we didn't have stability. This is the last track I have not ran on yet in NASCAR 21 edition. I'm kind of glad. Because this is probably the worst oval on this game so far. This and Charlotte. With no stability. Pack racing's insane from what we saw. Bell's going to be 3 wide on the bottom lane into turn 1. He rides the brakes into the corner, which probably wasn't the best idea, but he wanted out of there quickly. Now he gets tight in the dirty air. And he gets squeezed in the wall by Corey LaJoie. He's still being squeezed into the wall. He didn't want to turn left across his bumper, or would have probably spun him down into the infield. So he just kind of had to wall ride down the back straightaway, and now he's lost even more time. Heard this game is really bad. It is very bad. You can watch the first however many minutes of the stream, like half hour of the stream, to find out how bad this game is if you want to look out. Want to look to see how bad it is. Had to turn stability help on. Again, for those of you that don't know, I don't use stability at all, at least on the 550 tracks. I never used it at all on any ovals in any other NASCAR game, but this one, because it's just, you can't handle the race car on the 750 tracks doing a full race. You probably can if I ran a short enough race, but because I do full races with realistic commentary, it's not possible. We've tried it. I don't think we made it to the end of a single 100% race without stability on a 750 oval. So we started doing it there. 550 ovals, I still don't use stability. So you have to be nearly perfect still. And how the AI act alone at Michigan, there's just no way. There's no way. I would not buy the game right now. I'd wait out, see how many more patches we get to make the game perhaps more playable. I know it's dropped in price quite considerably, but it's still not even 50% off compared to what it was, so I wouldn't consider it. I would not consider it. Especially if you have NASCAR Heat 4 or NASCAR Heat 5, stick with that. It's not worth getting the newer up-to-date game right now. This game's I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is the worst NASCAR game I've ever played. I have not played NASCAR the game Inside Line, but out of what I've seen out of NASCAR Inside Line, it can't be worse than this. Like, this game is virtually unplayable at particular racetracks. But this is one of them. This is one of the tracks. This is Charlotte. No stability. You cannot race. You cannot race. Not if you're doing a race that's more than 20 laps and you have to pit. We still could have a pit road glitch sometime in this race today, but we'll just have to wait and see if that will be the case or not. Bell trying to make up some ground. Made a nice 3 wide pass. Timmy Hill, Quinn Health. Pro Chimp Skills, welcome to the stream. NASCAR Heat 5 is getting more love with this game. Yeah, I've gave it way more love. Yeah, I don't think anybody expected this game to be this bad. I really don't. Rotten Tomatoes would give this a 4% if it was a movie. This is like, I'm not a big movie person, but I would imagine this is like a movie with super great camera work, like the best camera work a movie can get or a movie set could have, but the actors are just absolute garbage and the writing is terrible. Like that's the definition of NASCAR 21 Ignition. That's NASCAR 21 Ignition in a nutshell. Bell lost a lot of ground after lifting off the exit of turn 2 there. Pack is single filed up and they're starting to pull away from him now. Start to pull out of line and go 2x2 again. Bell might be able to catch back up. Started last, no qualifying. Again, really no practice in this race, especially with the current settings. .3% rock speed. I do not do iRacing. I'd like to, but I don't want to really spend the money on it right now. I want to stay more focused on the commentating side of things. Almost 3 wide getting into turn 1. I think that's the 14 at Chase Briscoe that nearly made the move, but then got tight off a block in the dirty air and started moving up the racetrack. Draft is very, very relevant here at Michigan, especially in this game. And Christopher Bell, that's why he's running 36 right now, has had little to no drafting help. It's super tight in the dirty air in the corners, which is only making things even worse for him that he's having to lift. He might just have to try to pick the clean air in the center of the corner as much as he possibly can. Oh, big block going into 1. Briscoe might have given that car in front of him a little bit of leeway. Bell going to run the absolute outside, but had to lift, even not in the dirty air, just to keep it off the wall in tighter conditions. Pretty big run to get around Austin Dillon. 3 wide towards the front of the pack. Now 2x2, and they are bunching up quickly towards the back. They had to lift off turn 4. Bell's not going to lift. He's going to go all the way down to the apron into the tri-oval. Passing every car that was in that middle to inside lane. Goes up now to try and side draft the 2 of Keselowski. He stays underneath him. Trying to stay off of him. The drafting help on the outside will help. Bell's going to try to slide up in line. Barely clears the 53 car. Joey Gase. That was a big, close call. Bell could have easily turned himself in front of the field on the outside lane, trying to hop back in line. Checked him going into 3. Bell gets into the right rear of James Davidson, and he does not want to be 3 wide, especially on the outside. This is very tight, the tri-oval. 3 wide on the top for Christopher Bell. Pulls to the back bumper of the 62, trying to give a push now to Noah Gragson. He gets blocked by Keselowski. Bell trying to find some clean air all the way near the wall. Lifted to get out of line, though. Gase gets back around him. Still on the outside, but now it's 2x2. Crazy racing going on right now at Michigan. 15 laps in to the Firekeepers Casino 400. They checked up, getting into the corner. Bell pretty much stayed in it to the outside as he tries to hold on to some clean air. Back to 3 wide again with 2 cars underneath him. Joey Gase, Timmy Hill. Eric Jones on the outside. A lot of drafting help up high. Cindric in line behind the 20 of Bell. Bell gives Jones a shot. Michigan native is Eric Jones from Byron, Michigan. Cindric hopping in the draft. He goes 3 wide up the middle, and if he makes that pass work, oh, he couldn't quite clear the 20. Big side draft by Bell on that right rear quarter panel of Austin Cindric. They'll go into the outside of the checkup on Eric Jones in the 43. Makes the pass there. Mac Cheese 5D Gaming, welcome to the stream. Announcing is amazing. Thank you for that comment. Get subscribed for more daily NASCAR content, realistic commentary on the daily. Whether it is NASCAR video games, real races on the race weekends. Also post race highlights from the grandstands. Been going to a decent amount of races over the last few years. Started traveling to different tracks for NASCAR, so got that on the content, predictions, post-race analysis, and much more. So thanks for everybody tuning in here tonight and watching on a fairly nightly basis as well. Very hard to pull to the inside line, especially on the straightaways, to try and make a pass, even if you have a big run. You pull out of the draft, and your run just stalls out if you have no help. And that's what happened right there to the 14 of Briscoe. That allows Bell to get the run to the inside down into turn 3. Shoots the gap. Touches the apron. Slid a little bit. And had to lift to keep the car from wanting to slide out from underneath him. Able to side draft the 62. He does have drafting help from behind. Briscoe's on the inside. That's why nobody's going anywhere through the tri-oval. Briscoe's trying to get a bit of a run. Bell didn't aggressively side draft the 62. Davidson into the middle. He runs the 20 of Bell. Stacking up the inside lane. Jones gets around on the outside. And again, Bell hangs onto the car barely. Dicey situations on the fastest track in NASCAR. That was way more than a side draft. 2 cars pull out of line. Bell to the outside, screaming as he didn't lift when these 2 were side drafting each other. 3 wide to the top. Now a block down to the bottom on Jones off turn 4. Trying to take a shortcut. May try to pull back into the draft. No, instead he's going to side draft the 62. Noah Gragson into turn 1. Bell makes the pass. Now he'll draft behind Keselowski down the back straightaway. Big run for Bell. He's going to pull out a line. Inside of Brad K into turn 3. Clear. Bell into the clean air. Car's starting to get tighter on the longer run, though. Pushes up the track. Has to lift off the exit of the corner, but at least he's now the lead car in the draft. Flip 500, welcome to the stream. I do have to say the same thing, though, Blit, about the NASCAR YouTube community as a whole, whether it is the fans in the chat, the comment sections. I see a lot of the same faces across many different NASCAR YouTube channels, and that, I mean, it's just really big, a lot bigger community that I think people on the outside give it credit for, even on smaller channels like this one. This trap, because they're single file, for the most part, can stay single file. I think they've got a really good chance of being able to catch that pack in front of him that's much larger in this 2x2. I will say with stability, you're seeing a lot better racing only because we don't have to lift as much. Still having to lift for the car getting tight, but now it's not wanting to wreck off the exit of a corner anymore. Again, this is the first race of the round of 12 of the playoffs for this custom schedule season. So there is a lot on the line, to say the least. So Bell running 27th right now. That is not great. I'd like to expect this should be a 4-stop race today at minimum. Maybe 3 if they can make it 50 laps. We'll have to see exactly how long the fuel window will be here today at Michigan. Again, the cars in the draft are going to save more. Bell doesn't have any drafting help for the moment as he is really pulled away from the pack behind him. Not by much, just over half a second at least. He overdrove the corner a little bit. He did flip the throttle when he went down there, trying to make sure the car's not going to slip out from underneath him. If Chick-fil-A was a girl, I'd smash it. Pending consent. Welcome to the stream. Hilarious. Imagine Mike Joy saying that live commentary over an actual NASCAR race. Just saying that line. We have realistic commentary here, but we have a lot of fun as well. They'll try to catch the back of this pack. If this goes green to the end with the racing we've seen so far, or not green to the end, but even just competitive like this all the way to the end of the race, this could be one of the potential to be one of the best races ever, which I don't think we could have said that given this game and how things started on the stream tonight. But things have taken a very quick turn for the better. That was close enough to draft off of Cody Ware. Ware has kind of lost the back of this pack so far. Bell with a run, pulls to the inside into turns 1 and 2, and he gets clipped off the 51, up into the wall goes Christopher Bell, and all that time he was gaining, lost. He pulled to the bottom. He got a little tight, but Cody Ware also came down to try and side draft that right rear corner panel, getting into turn 1 at the same time. Bell's going to blow right around him in turn 3. But now there's no drafting help for Christopher Bell once again. All that time gained after breaking away from the pack of Keselowski, Briscoe, and others. We DNF'd at Road America, finished 33rd. We were running first, then I blew a left front tire, overrunning the kink. Made an unscheduled stop, made our way back up to second. Went to make our 3rd stop of the day, 2nd scheduled. And when I was coming into the pits, we got plowed by Chastain and Reddick. They were going like literally 100 miles an hour faster than I was, while we were already on pit road, and we got disqualified for it. Luckily, although we finished 33rd, we made it to this round of the playoffs by just 7 points. We were very lucky that William Byron and Ryan Blaney, who both finished behind us, DNF'd. Logano also DNF'd, and he missed the cutoff, or missed this round by 1 point. Byron and Blaney had a tiebreaker, which went to Byron for the best finish in the round, which was 8th at Nashville between the two of them, but they were tied for the last spot, and then Bell was the next guy ahead of him 7 points above. So we got very, very lucky that, I mean, all the luck that really kind of compiled into each other. Not only the fact that they DNF'd at Road America, but then you look back, not so much at Nashville, because Bell finished last and only got 1 point there, but you look back at the race before that at New Hampshire, the first race of the round, where, yes, he was so close to winning, and maybe got a win taken away from him because there was no telemetry in the game. But running out of fuel, getting stuck on pit road, and luckily was able to still finish 9th place after finally making that stop with 2 to go, running out of gas, getting back on the track to at least salvage a top 10. If we would have finished, say, 16th, 17th, 18th that race, we would have been eliminated too. So we were very, very lucky that we even got a 9th place finish, because I mean, one thing led to another. What a wild first round of the playoffs that was, for all the wrong reasons for us, but we made it. It was entertaining. And this race at Michigan so far has really picked up as far as the wildness factor and the chaotic factor from the get-go. Oh man, that was a close moment. One car nearly knocked down to the apron. I think it was DiBenedetto as he tried to pull out a line and make a pass on Kurt Busch. Trying to make it 3 wide into the corner. Busch tried to fit in the middle at the same time. A lot of drafting help on the outside. Now it's Busch who's going to pull to the middle 3 wide. Bell's going to give the 77 a shot up high.
2 inside, you're 3 wide.
They'll try not to lift on the outside this time. Catching the clean air. Back in the draft down the back straightaway. More cars on the bottom than what there is on the top. Bell's going to go down to the bottom. He's going to go 3 wide to the inside. Going to be extra aggressive into turn 3.
All right, hold your line. Clear all
Sends it into the corner and clears everybody. Pushing up the track, though, at that awkward angle. Lifted a bit. In decent shape, but now Kurt Busch, DiBenedetto, Haley likely going to get a run in the tri-oval. Bell going to try to break the draft and slow that momentum down as much as he can, but they're still coming in hot into turn 1. 3 wide in the middle pack now, just inside the top 20. This might be the best racing at this track if you have stability on. I don't like running with stability on, but it's what we got to do in order to even attempt to make it to the end of the race. On some tracks, not all tracks. But again, this is the last... We shouldn't... I keep saying we shouldn't have this issue again, but now that this is the last track I haven't raced on in this game, we shouldn't have an issue with that going forward. I know the tracks I need stability. I know the tracks I don't need stability now that I've been there. So despite a crapshoot in the regular season and the start of this race was a crapshoot, at least now I know what track stability I can and can't run to at least make it to the end of the race. If I make my own mistake, that's one thing. Obviously, we DNF, but 9 times out of 10, it's not my mistake in this game. And you guys that have been with the channel for a while now know my capability of being able to race with racing games. And I know how to keep a car clean for a full race consistently, that, you know, the game itself shouldn't, you know, crash on me, giving me bad finishes and stuff like that. That is why Bell was able to even get 6 wins on the season and put himself in this situation. DiBenedetto pulls out a line again to try and make a pass on Kurt Busch. I tell he's probably the faster car of the 3 in that pack. A lot of lane changing going on the front stretch. Bell with a gigantic run in the draft. Checks up before getting into turn 1. It's going to kill his momentum in turns 1 and 2 now. All the way up on the outside. The only reason he was able to run there is because he lifted as much as he did on corner entry. Back in the draft again. Trying to gain some time down the back straightaway into turn 3. My goodness, they're checking up as they pull out a line into 3. No heavy damage to Bell, luckily. Very tight off the exit of the corner in the dirty air, though. Dirty air, old tires. Coming to lap 36. The Aaron Rodgers of NASCAR. Why do you say that? Oh, it's really tight in turns 1 and 2 again. I'm scared to loosen the car up because I know it. If it's too loose, it is. We are not going to save it. But the long run definitely hurts for Bell right now. He's starting to lose this pack that he was catching. He catches back up to him, but once he gets so close behind him and he's in dirty air, starts to lose more ground instantly. Not quite close enough to get a draft on the tri-oval this time. He's about a half a second back. They make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Using a little bit of brakes. Definitely tighter in 1 and 2 than what he is in 3 and 4. Not good when you have to use the brakes at Michigan. Kurt Busch is starting to close. And you don't want a short pit either. Again, because this could be a fuel mileage race today. Anybody can pull out a line off the exit of 4 one of these times. And look how quickly they go from single file to double file. 3 cars on the inside, 4 cars on the outside. About to be 5 when Bell closes in. A lot of side drafting going on as they make their way down into turn 1. Bell pulls to the inside. Didn't want to go 3 wide. There was a small opening. Nobody hooked that yellow line on the bottom, so Bell was able to get the car to turn in clean air that time. It's a sacrifice, though, because you pull out to get clean air to get the car to turn, but you lose time because of the draft. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation if you're in the pack. Bell's just going to try to go wide open into 3. Had to lift at the last second to keep it off the 78 of B.J. McLeod. Look at him shove tight. Side draft in the 78 car. 3 wide. Nearly 4 wide in the tri-oval. Big time sandwich right now. Chastain and Wallace are making contact. Bell's going to make it 4 wide to the inside as they head down into turn 1. Clearing everybody. Wallace almost gets into the back of the 20. I guess he couldn't quite clear everybody. Suarez and McDowell are up high. Bell is going to find himself in line. He gets a push from Chastain. Gets him back going in the draft again. McDowell going to pull out a line. Bell stays wide into turn 3 to the outside. 3 wide now. McDowell down low. Bell gets tight. He has to lift. That time it wasn't dirty air. It's just a tire wear. McLeod almost clobbers the left rear corner panel. Chastain up the middle. I don't know if that's going to work. 3 wide into 1. Chastain to the middle. No, he fakes it out. Decides to just stay behind Suarez. Wallace with a run. McDowell pulls up to block Bell. Bell pulls out a line to the inside. Sends it. Clips the apron. 3 wide. Chastain, Suarez up high. Bell down low. Bell's going to clear Chastain. Clear Suarez. Now just trying to block everybody. Down into turn 1. Bell has driven this car from the rear of the field to 16th and 41 laps. And now he's got clean air on the nose, finally. Definitely going to have to rely on the pit crew to have a pretty fast stop. Nobody has pit yet. They're going to go down trying to break the draft in the tri-oval. They're still 2x2, and with them side drafting each other, that's the only reason Bell's pulling away. He got the clean air, and he had nobody on his side drafting him anymore, and he was finally able to get away from those guys. The car's handling 10 times better. Gonna make a bit of an adjustment, though. Gonna take a half around a wedge out of the race car. That's the only adjustment he will make. Just to try to help the long run speed for when he's in dirty air. Hopefully, again, that does not make the car too loose in clean air. DB Forever 85, Restall Cup, welcome to the stream. Bell trying to break whatever draft. Chastain or Busch might be getting behind him again, but I don't think they're close enough to get a draft anyway. Bell is going to pit at lap 50 no matter what. Hopefully he can make it, but he's planning on... Yep, okay, well there we go, never mind. Crew Chief is calling Christopher Bell into the pits. No damage will be repaired. Again, a half around a wedge taken out of the car will be the adjustment for Bell. Lap 43. So the window is open to make it on 4 stops. Bell will pit this time as he slides wide off turn 4. Not going to wait any longer. Bell will be the first car into the pit lane. And there his first pit box. I thought it was going to nose us into the wall. That was close. So 4 tires and fuel for Bell. He's the first driver to hit pit road at lap 43, trying to make up time on the field as much as he can. Half around a wedge coming out of the car. That will be the only adjustments for the 20. Trying to loosen it up on the long run in traffic is the idea here. Great Aaron Rodgers and wins NASCAR championships like Rodgers won a Super Bowl. I got more than one championship, though. Still irks me I didn't win one for NASCAR Thunder 04. We did that playthrough. Both seasons. My best finish in points was like 6th, I believe. They'll get to stay on the inside lane. Try not to have a blend line violation as he gets up to speed at Michigan. It's going to take a while to get up to speed. Hopefully he can blend in traffic. I really hope the rest of the field can't make it to lap 50. Again, Bell didn't have as much drafting help for most of that run. It looks like he's just going to cycle out by himself, but he does have fresh tires. And again, the wedge adjustment was made. And a section of the fans in the grandstands have left, it looks like, in the pit road entry part of the front stretch. Maybe they're all taking a bathroom break before everybody cycles through pit stops. Well, that wedge adjustment definitely made the car stick on the short run. Almost a little too loose on the short run in clean air. Big block by Eric Jones on Cody Ware as they pulled out of line. Bell checks up a bit. Goes to the outside.
One left, stay high.
Still no sign of anybody pitting.
Hold your line.
Again, if they can make it to lap 50, it is going to be a 3-stop race for everybody but Christopher Bell. And even on fresh tires, look at how much the draft plays a factor. He's able to clear the 14, but barely getting into turn 1. Difference is he could definitely hang on full throttle with the fresh tires. Also trying to blow up on Ethan. Alright, that's fair. I don't have a big ego, though. A lot of 3-wide racing going on up there. And we got cars pitting on turn 4, so it'd be lap 47. And we got a lot of cars on pit road. So these cars pitting now will definitely not be able to make it. We still got a lot of cars out on the racetrack, though. We'll have to wait and see where Bell will cycle out of the pits. Hopefully his picture had a pretty decent pit stop, speed-wise. Custer by himself. That's where you can tell the fresh tire difference is when cars are by themselves. Bell blows by Cole Custer. I haven't played 2K in probably 3 or 4 years. Where fans leave. MLB The Show, they leave the game too. But it has to be like a really big blowout for them to do that. And obviously you have to, it's got to be a big blowout. And it has to be against the home team. And usually it's a big blowout in like the 8th or 9th inning when they leave at the very end. Well, they're still gone. A lot of cars in the pit lane at lap 49. That's going to be really, really close to the pit window. Where will Christopher Bell cycle? Caution's out. Caution is out. In the middle of green flag pit stops at lap 49 at Michigan, our first yellow of the day. Bell's going to stay out of the pits. I don't know what's going to happen here. Track position's the name of the game. He'll restart 9th. Green flag is back in the air. Well, we got more than 5 laps of fuel. Big stack up on the restart. They're going to be 4 wide down into 1. Bell gets squeezed by Logano. And Busher. very lucky to not wreck the race car there.
2 on the outside. You're 3.
Oh, Buscher lifted. He might be out of gas. I'm not really sure. He may not have pit. We might see a lot more cars pitting this time. The field's really strung out at the front. So Bell is up to 9th place after staying out of the pits during the first caution of the race. The problem is, I believe he's a lap down. Which could be accurate only because I don't think everybody made their stop before the caution waved, which would be the reason Bell is a lap down. Oh, big block up there. This is going to be hard to make up all that time, though, to get back to the front of the field. Bell's going to attempt, of course. Hooks the inside, just enough room to squeeze under Davidson, barely staying above the white line. Another car pitting. So we got cars pitting, and I think everybody that is on the lead lap is making their way onto pit road. So that is probably going to give the lap back to Bell, who is up to 5th. William Byron leads. Yeah, 17 likes right now. Definitely hit the like button if you are watching and have not hit it yet. Race is really wacky after that first caution at lap 49 in the middle of green flag pit stops. Might help some guys make it on fuel too to the end, so this could be a potential fuel mileage race.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Crew chief's gonna call us into the pits. I don't know how much fuel we would have saved under caution. I'm scared that if we didn't save any, we should probably pit around lap 90 just to be safe. Well, no, wait a minute. We made it to lap 43, so we'll pit at lap 86 just to be safe. So Bell will pit at lap 86. Justin Haley in 5th place. What a great run for that Spire Motorsports Chevrolet. Bell doesn't have fast enough cars right now, though, to be able to get to the top 3. All the Hendrick Chevys running top 3. Byron, Larson, Bowman. Kind of accurate to how they drafted and pulled away from the pack at Michigan. Between Byron and Larson. Larson, remember, has not won a race this year. He comes in really into the entire playoffs as a 16th seed. He's the only driver without a win. Pointed his way with ease into the round of 12. He was 31 points above the cutoff line following the cutoff race yesterday at Road America, finishing the top 10 all 3 races. Mistake-free, now he's top 3, battling for the lead with his teammates in the early going of this one. So Bell's up to 4th. He may be on the lead lap now. Bell may be on the lead lap now that all the pit stops are finally cycled through. But the strategy is all over the place right now. We know that Bell will have to pit 3 more times before the end of the race no matter what. But for everybody else, no clue. No clue. The more the cautions come out, I think the more that's just going to mess the strategy up even more. Well, all Madden cares about is Ultimate Team. It's the only thing they care about. Let's see if Bell's going to have better long run speed. It's going to be kind of hard to dictate by himself. But got about 21 laps till he pits. Michigan's the number 2 team college football playoffs. Yeah, I kind of expected them to be 2. Maybe 3 behind Cincy, but I'm considering their only loss was against Michigan State, and they just beat the number 2 team in the country. I figured we'd be up to 2. which is good. I just don't want to play Georgia in the first game.
Okay, we have to pit next time out.
I hope Cincy finishes 3. I think Cincy's a good team, but it's probably the best bet for Michigan. Top 3 still pulling away in the draft right now. There's another Hendrick Chevy coming up the way, 3 seconds at least behind Bell in 5th. That would be Chase Elliott. So all 4 Hendrick Chevys are in the top 5, all 4 of which are also in the round of 12 of the playoffs. All 4 Joe Gibbs Toyotas in the round of 12 of the playoffs as well. Both Penske cars that made the playoffs of Blaney and Logano were eliminated in the round of 16, and Keselowski missed the playoffs entirely. So no Penske's made it to the round of 12, which is insane. Again, Bell started at the rear. Hasn't led a lap yet. This is as high in the running order as he has been all race long. Elliott's got to be side drafted with a lot of cars back there because he is not able to catch the 20, but the 3 cars up further up the way have been mainly single file. You know, 1 car coming out of the pit lane. Can't tell who that is. Again, Bell not able to save gas either. May not want to take this all the way to lap 83 just in case. Only because he's been by himself nearly this entire run, outside of the first couple laps after the restart. Bell just looking for a much more consistent round. Larson has now just taken the lead that last time by. Byron now back to 3rd, Bowman to 2nd. Feels like the car is handling better. And Byron, I believe, has lost a draft, so he might have gotten loose off turn 2. It looked like there was a car that came out of the pits and was on the apron off the exit of 2. I think Byron might have gotten loose. Made a great save, and he has lost the draft of the 5 and the 48. Because Bell is now 3.5 seconds behind him, and if he can catch Byron and has better single car speed than the 24, can the 24 and the 20 draft up to the 5 and the 48? Oh, Bell in the wall off 2. That's not going to help. He's trying to go full throttle still. He gets in the wall off the exit of 2. I think the 48 and the 5 were side drafting each other side by side for the lead, that they're now only 4 seconds ahead of Bell. And that was after Bell just hit the wall. Problem is, them side drafting has allowed the 24 of Byron to catch back up, and it's back to a 3-car pack again. So it's going to be tough for Bell to close in. Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage after hitting the wall off 2 with the right side. Stayed full throttle that time and didn't hit the wall. Very lucky to not blow a tire. Maybe they side draft each other. They are 3 wide for the lead right now. 3 wide for the lead, getting into 3. They keep doing that, Bell might catch him, but they're going to have to do that for quite a few more laps in a row if Bell's going to have a good run at him. Yeah, I'm surprised Brian Kelly went to LSU too. I think when he talked about it, wanting to, well, what did he say about his team earlier this year when they played Toledo? They almost lost to him. Said his entire team should be executed. I think that was a silent hint that he was on his way out at the end of the year. I was kind of thinking about that when I saw the news. I was like, well, he did say his team should be executed earlier this year. Not saying that's the reason why he's gone, but maybe he was just kind of fed up with the program.
Okay, we have to sit next time out.
Maybe. Speculation, for sure. It's my speculation. I'm subject to my own opinion. Bell's definitely have to lift in 1 and 2 now. He's doing it just to be safe. He doesn't want to hit the wall again and risk blowing a tire. And a lot of close calls already in the race today. Somehow he's going to have to make up 4 seconds on Larson, Bowman, Byron. It's like Denny Hamlin's up to 5th. Maybe the Joe Gibbs teammates could work together. Truex up to 7th. This could be a Hendrick Motorsports versus Joe Gibbs Racing race. Maybe even just a round of 12 in general. Again, the next 2 races of the round of 12. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be race 2 of the round at Homestead. First time we will race at Homestead on the custom schedule season. So a bit of an unknown there. I have raced there in the career mode though, so I do know I don't need stability help. I trust myself. A little bit of contact will probably spin us out, but I said no more restarting. And I restarted tonight, but this was a one night only kind of deal. Maybe a lap car gets caught by one of those top 3. Lifted a little bit on entry into 1 and 2. Still pushing tight even though he lifted. Close to the end of the run though. It's not after 10 to 20 laps this time though. It's 30 laps into the run. Just over 30 laps. Sorry, just under 30 laps. Still nowhere near as bad. It probably would be in the dirty air. I don't want to loosen it up too much though, because it definitely felt loose on the short run. And knowing we were bad loose at the beginning of the race, I really just don't want to be loose in traffic. There's no way we're going to stay without traffic the rest of this race. So when everybody was split apart, the lead got knocked down to 4 seconds. Now the lead is up to about 6 seconds. Over 4th place Christopher Bell. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Definite comeback. Not much of a comeback. Well, we started last, but we haven't had to really survive adversity in this race. Very lucky to be on this end on the lead lap of the caution. We could have been... I think we were trapped a lap down, but I think that's because everybody who did not pit, for whatever reason, didn't pit during the caution either. That's who pit on the restart. So we got our lap back, and that cycled us up to 4th. Looks like Timmy Hill in the 36th place spot, and the 66 car will be the next car Christopher Bell is going to try to catch. Definitely can't draft with him to the front of the pack, I can guarantee it, so Bell's just going to try to pass him clean. Hopefully he doesn't get tight and dirty air when he gets close to him. He's going to try to pick a different line than him. Into turns 3 and 4, he's trying to go full throttle, he's lifting. He's out of the gas, and he's still in the wall off turn 4. Bell tried to lift off 4, felt the car pushing tight. There's some fast cars coming up the way. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, I believe Bubba Wallace. That might be some drafting help Bell needs. Problem is, he's only about anywhere between 4 to 7 laps away from his pit stop, so it's too little, too late. Bell's going to have to pit very soon. Doesn't want to risk it. Bailed out at New Hampshire. I don't think he's going to get bailed out again in the playoffs. One car down into the pits. And I believe it was Alex Bowman. Bowman has just pit. So that will split apart the top 3 a little bit. So at least it's good to know that Bell is on the same strategy as Larson, Byron, and Bowman, it looks like. And that could be the winning strategy. No adjustments this time around for Christopher Bell. It'll strictly be 4 tires and fuel. And he's going to hope that if a caution comes out in the middle, a green flag stops again, that he can be on the right side of the caution a second time. I think the field's a lot more spaced apart now than what they were before the first yellow, though. Hamlin, Elliott, Wallace closing in behind Bell. See if Bell will hold on to third. Would have been fourth, excluding the fact that Bowman pit. Byron Larson still on the track. Are you kidding me? Bowman literally cycled right back with the leaders. Tells me he had a really fast stop. Bell out of the gas, up the track off turn 2, and he's in the wall. He's going to pull out a line to let Hamlin and Elliott go. Elliott pulls out a line to try and make a pass on the 11. Bell wasn't expecting that. That was a close call. Bell's got some drafting help for now, but he's going to have to pit very soon. Try to gain as much time as possible on these guys before he pits. I don't think he should go further than lap 83. Problem is he's really tight. He's still losing ground. Contemplating making another adjustment. Yep, plan on going to the Daytona 500 next year. Yes, I do. Yeah, Elliott and Hamlin are bumper to bumper right now. Bell's got nothing for him. So it would have been eventual 6th place when Bell does decide to pit. Chastain's not going to catch him. He's still 2 seconds behind, and he's got slower cars to draft with than what the race cars Elliott and Hamlin both have. Bell's going to make the late decision to pit this time. Got to make sure he doesn't speed. 45 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. Bell into the pit box. No adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for Christopher Bell. Second stop of the day, both under green for Bell. Zavi, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean, the next gen is just a complete unknown. Complete for the drivers, the fans alike, the teams. Just have to see how everything plays out. Somehow those Hendrick cars have to get broken up. I mean, there's no way Bell's going to be able to gain time. Best chance he's got is a restart. Makes his way out of the pit lane. Getting up to speed. Big pack of cars. 2x2 out in front of him. Bell going to pull onto the track now. No other traffic behind him. And if he just could have gotten up to speed quick enough to draft with that pack, that would have been ideal. They are going 3 wide, though. Maybe it's better that we're back here. 3 wide. Remember, it could be a fuel mileage race, too. These drivers that pit after the caution, they might only have to pit 2 more times at the end of the race compared to the Hendrick cars, and then Bell and those guys who are on the lead lap might have to pit. Well, they will have to pit 3 times. It's guaranteed they will have to pit 3 times. That caution coming out in the right spot for some of these other guys. they might definitely benefit. They are slowing each other down big time. Now they're down to double file down the backstretch. Bell's got pressured tires. He's going to want to get around these guys as quick as possible. Just in case they wreck, too. He's got a big run. Inside lane, he's going to draft with the Benedetto, pulling out of line 3 wide in the tri-oval. Keselowski to Benedetto to his outside. No drafting help, though, on the bottom for Bell. But the fresh tires in the middle of the corner will help him out to get by to Benedetto and Keselowski in turns 1 and 2. Now hops to the top to get back in the draft. Blaney doesn't have a chance to pull back. Oh, almost some contact. There's a checkup. Austin Dillon with a big block on Truex. Truex pulls to the bottom now. Look at Bell to the outside, shooting by everybody. Trying to, at least. Harvick leads this pack. Bell's going to sit behind Harvick right now. And he is going to bump draft him in the tri-oval. Big crossover by Bell. He faked high, went low. Oh, got a little loose. Got a little loose in 1 and 2. Slips up the track. Still pulls clear of the 4. Go-Kart King, welcome to the stream. Pit road speed's 50. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I said it was 45. You probably could have carried a little bit more speed into the pits. My bad on that one. I knew it was 55. Bell scored 21st. He's made his 2nd and 4 pit stops already. 2-stopper to the end. A gigantic run! Oh my goodness, what a close call. Wallace pulled out of line, side draft to the 42. They're on older tires, so they probably lifted as well. And Bell coming through full speed, had to go all 4 tires down to the apron to miss him. And if it wasn't for the fresh tires, he would not have been able to hold that arc into the corner. I don't even know, even with the fresh tires, how he held it. The car being looser on the short run. Doesn't look like Byron nor Larson have pit yet. And I think they have drafted up to Larson and Byron. It looks like it on the leaderboard that they're with it. Well, not all the way up to him, but they're about 1.5 to 2 seconds back. Which they were about 7 to 8 seconds back originally. So the 11 and the 9 have speed. And of course, the 9 probably got the same speed that the 5 to 48 and the 24 have. So that probably makes sense. Hamlin was just able to hang on with it. Bell just couldn't do it. Bell, for the life of him, just could not do it. Just doesn't have that much speed in the race car on the long run to be able to hold with him. And pitting even earlier than these guys, he's going to have even older tires, too. But he's making up time with fresh tires currently. He wanted to short pit to try and gain track position, because that will likely be the key today at Michigan, especially with the 550 package. Why he also stayed out of the pits during the first caution. Why he got up to 4th place. We got another car pitting off of turn 4. Looks like another Hendrick car. It's Kyle Larson. So Larson has pit. We'll get to see where Bell will cycle around him. The 48 obviously is ahead of the 20. And the 48 car was drafting with the other Hendricks. He kind of morphed back in line with them, pitting when he did. Bell's got fresher tires on him, though, by about 5 to 10 laps. So maybe that'll make a difference in single car speed. assuming things get split apart. We'll have to, again, see where Larson's going to morph himself in line. Seemed like a pretty quick pit stop by the 20 crew. No clue exactly. There's Larson. Larson is getting up to speed in turns 1 and 2 right now. It's going to take a little bit for Larson to wind up. He's going to pull up. He's in front of Hamlin and Elliott currently. 48's way ahead of him. So Larson is approximately 2.5 seconds ahead of Bell. And he's got about 7 to 8 lap pressure tires too. So that is not ideal for Christopher Bell. Bell can catch the 11 and the 9 here, even with them being on older tires. Maybe the draft will help catch Larson. Gonna have a big draft down the back straightaway. Maybe lap cars get Larson's way. Somebody's coming out of the pits. I think it's Byron. That's not good if it is Byron, because then the 5 and the 24 are going to link up again into turn 3. Boy, the 9 and the 11 got way out of the gas. Bell into the back of both of them. And that slows Bell down. Doesn't really have too much damage, luckily. Hamlin and Elliott still have to pit. I do not play Minecraft, no. Never have. Bell to the outside. Oh, and he almost turned Elliott. Oh, what a save by Chase Elliott. Oh, and Elliott might go around that time, and he saves it again in turn 3. Bell just drilled his left rear. Elliott's going to lose the draft off the 11 and the 20. Bell just wasn't making up for the fact that they had to lift and he doesn't going into the corner. It's too cool. Well, that allowed Larson to pull away a bit more. Well, blows 3 wide to the top of Cody Ware, Quinn Houff. Larson's still by himself. 24 cars in a pack of about 3 right now, and he's pulling away from Larson. Bell's got no drafting help. He's too fast for the 11 and the 9, with those guys being on older tires still. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like NASCAR. I think you're talking about the next-gen cars? Yeah, hopefully not. Could you imagine real race cars lagging? Especially with the lags on at Daytona under the lights here. Imagine they go into the dual races next February and there's just a random lag. Gets around Ryan Newman. Anthony Alfredo clears him just barely before getting into turn 3. Larson had a lot of lap traffic in front of him. He might be in the middle of it right now. Can't really tell. Well, trying to get a draft off of James Davidson. You can definitely tell he's barely close enough to get a draft midway down the front stretch. He didn't have it all the way down the front stretch. Gets out of the gas. The dirty air, pulls to the bottom in the middle of the corner. Passes them both. First time we've really seen lap traffic today. Bell pulls out a line to the inside of the 53, inside of the 62. Eric Jones pulling down. Bell lifts to make sure he wasn't going to pull down into him. Another car pitting up towards the lead pack. And now Byron pits. So I guess Byron didn't pit before. Or actually, Byron's the next car in front of the 20 now, so I guess, yes, he didn't pit. Byron has not pit yet, surprisingly, so maybe he's not on the same strategy that the 40 and the 48 and the 5 are, which is strange.
Got one right. All right, hold your line.
Bell gonna unlap himself down the back straightaway. Three wide, getting into 3 and 4, just ahead of Bell. Bell's coming in with a massive amount of speed to the outside. Nowhere to really go. He's going to go up the middle, 3 wide, into the tri-oval. Cindric falls back in line on the outside. Bell splits the traffic. Pass on Haley was actually for position. Haley, though, I don't think has pit yet. Larson still about 2.5 seconds in front. I think if we get another caution, Bell's going to have to pit. Just so he can make it on fuel on 2 stops. Because the rest of the field's going to be able to make it on 1 that is pitting now, and he's still 17th. So maybe not right this minute, but any lap after lap 100, we're going to see drivers that can for sure make it on 1 more stop following the current green flag stops we're seeing now. And William Byron is in the lead, still out on the track, lap 101 for him. So it's halfway. We're at the halfway mark here today at Michigan. Byron can make it on 2 more stops. So can Bell, but Bell's almost a full lap behind him. I don't think he's going to make up that much time on tires at Michigan. A little bit of tire wear here, but not a whole lot. Pit and change controllers. My battery low. I want to pause it. Oh, Larson got caught up in traffic coming out of the pit lane, it looked like. Cole Custer and Timmy Hill. Oh, he's got 2 more lap cars. Oh, 1 car pit right in front of him. Bell's going to have a good draft up turn 4 on the high side of the tri-oval as well. Pull out of line. Makes a quick pass on Timmy Hill and Ryan Preece.
Clear, clear.
There is Larson. Byron's just coming out of the pits, it looks like. Larson's with the 48 car. Bell's getting tight up the track in turns 1 and 2. He has to lift a little bit. Spolicki down on the bottom. He's so close to the back of the 48 and the 5. Spolicki pulled up nearly into the side of Preece. The 5 and the 48 are not tandem together. They are not tandem together. 48 does have older tires than even the 20. It was the first car. And never mind, it's the other way around. Bowman was the first of the Hendrick cars to pit, but Bell pitted a couple laps beforehand. They're on similar tires. Larson's got about 7 to 8 lap fresher tires than Bell, probably 3 to 4 lap fresher tires in the 48. Look at Preece coming in with the fresh tires. He's got to give some drafting help right now for Bell as he pulls to the inside of Bowman, makes a pass on the 48. In turns 3 and 4. Faster lap cars in line behind Bell right now. And there's some drafting help for Christopher Bell to try and catch Larson. He's in second. Not sure who the leader is. No caution through that set of green flag stops, though. There's no way Byron's still the leader. No way. I mean, unless he hasn't pit yet, I guess. But I don't know how he wouldn't have pit still. Bell couldn't roll all the way to the bottom that time. He's still got drafting help in the tri-oval. If he can keep the 52, the 37 behind him for a bit longer, they will catch Larson. That's all Bell wants. It's enough drafting help to get to the 5. Oh, that might have been it, though. 52 gets by, the 37 gets by. Bell's going to try to cling on down the back straightaway. Hopefully they get around Larson quick and don't allow the 5 car to pull away from the 20. 1 car pulls to the bottom. That would be Balicki. Priest is going to pull to the bottom with Balicki in turns 3 and 4. So Larson on the outside. Hopefully Larson's not able to stick with those guys. Well, they're side by side right in front of Larson. Larson's got nowhere to go. He thought about going 3 wide up the middle. He couldn't do it. And here comes Bell with a big run. Bell to the inside. Aggressive move down to the apron. Nearly into turn 1. Gets tight. Oh, and he gets squeezed by the 37 into the 5 of Larson. They're connected together off the exit of turn 2, and they save it. And Larson holds on to second. Remember, the 20 and the 5 have had a history this season. Bit of a rivalry between the two. And I know it was Priest that squeezed the 20 into the 5, but don't forget about that. You'd hate to see it temper onto a fast track like Michigan, though. Bill had the momentum. He was there. Priest, though, with the fresh tires, took the move to the inside way too aggressively. Bell's move was aggressive enough. Larson had a big run in the draft in the tri-oval. All 4 of these guys could draft up to the leader. That would be probably the most ideal situation, but Bell might be close enough to draft off Larson in the tri-oval. He is. Larson pulls low. Bell going to go with him. Now he's going to go to the inside, 3 wide again. Crowd on the edge of their seats. Bell trying to hook the bottom. He slides up in front of the 5. 52 had the run on the outside. Bell finally clears Kyle Larson. Bell pulls low. Trying to block the 5. Larson's got to run into 3. Bell gets by Priest now. Hooking the bottom lane. Larson stuck behind the lap cars. Christopher Bell to a race-high second place. But still no clue who the leader is. Larson drafting behind the 20. We know he's probably got a faster car. It's going to be hard for Bell to try and hold him behind. Big block down the back straightaway. And now up to the high side. Bell going to try to drive it in deep as Larson backs up the corner. Larson lost some time there. He went to the outside, while Ryan Priest and Josh Balicki went underneath him. And Larson's going to have to try to pull out a pass in turns 1 and 2 to the inside of Priest. He pulled out of line. Here comes Larson. Now he's got some drafting help off the back of the 20. 20 going to pull up in front of the 37. Barely had enough time to do it. Larson down on the bottom of the run. Bell with a block down to the inside. Big time block going into 3 as they still battle for second. Very risky with no rear view mirror in this game. Bell pulling off all the stops. Car in the pits. Bell now in the lead. And the battle for second is now the battle for the lead with Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson with 90 to go at Michigan. Larson to the outside of Christopher Bell. Bell trying to side draft him. He couldn't do it. He pulls in line now. Breaks up the momentum of the 52. Larson going to back up turns 3 and 4. Bell drives it in deep, trying to close. He's in dirty air right now, and he's having to burp the throttle. But he'll stay in the draft. Bell still has not led a lap. He took the lead after the start-finish line that last time by. Can he get a run on the 5 of Larson? Pulls out of line into turn 1, down to the bottom. Battle for the lead at Michigan between the two rivals. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell. And if it's a battle like this for the win at the end of the race, it is going to be very interesting. Bell trying to side draft the 5. Larson trying to pinch the 20. Almost making contact into turn 3. Bell going to pull up. Big time block up 4. He's clear. And for the first time today, Christopher Bell is going to lead at Michigan. 113 laps to go from last place starting position to the lead. Bell to the bottom. Larson up high.
Clear.
Barely able to slide up the exit of 2. This got to be the most intense battle considering the part of the season and just, I don't think, the most intense battle we've ever had on NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel. What started off as just a disaster of a race has now turned in to potentially one of the best races, if not the best, we've had on the channel with this game. Larson had a bigger run than even Bell had in the tri-oval. Larson to the inside of Bell. Can he clear him off of turn 2? Yes, he will. Back and forth go the 5 and the 20. Not enough drafting help, though. Actually, no drafting help behind the 20. Oh, big block by the 52 of Balicki, the lap car. Brendan, welcome to the stream. Contact. Bell shuffle out of line. He's going to try to cling on to the 37. He doesn't have help from behind. It's going to be difficult. Really needs those guys to kind of pull out a line into turns 1 and 2. They are single file. Bell gets tight 1 and 2. And he is finally losing Larson. Now the 52 pulls out of line, but that might have been it. Bell tried to hang with those guys as long as he could. He's going to need them to get side by side and 3 wide. He's going to want a chance on single car speed to catch the 5. Chase Briscoe in the 14's the next car behind Bell, but he's a second behind him. He may have fresh enough tires that if he could get to Christopher Bell, maybe they can draft up to the 5 of Larson. Harvick in 3rd is about 6.5 seconds back of Bell. He's got to come out of nowhere in this one. Oh, that was Ublit. And Bell's way too tight at this point in the run. He's in the wall. In the wall off 4. Gonna lose even more momentum. Well, that was a great battle for about 10 laps with Kyle Larson for the race lead. Bell's likely going to have to pit as soon as that window opens now. Oh, that wasn't you. Okay. Your name just so happens to be Brent. 14 car in line behind Bell, not directly behind him. Not yet, at least. Larson 3 seconds ahead. .14 car to the outside. Bell gonna block off the exit of turn 2 as they draft together down the back straightaway. 3.5 seconds back now of the 20. Or sorry, of the 5 is the 20. Oh, that middle to upper group through 3 and 4. He's still losing ground to Larson. 2 cars is not as fast as 3. Go Pack, go. I saw that down in the chat for anybody wondering. Anybody listening or watching that isn't in the chat. I'm going to try to slide up in front of the 14 again. It does. I mean, at least one car drafting with Bell is faster than none. Bell's car is just way too tight at this point in the run. He's going to be aggressive with the next adjustment to the race car. He's going to take another half around a wedge out of the car to try and help loosen it up even more on the longer run because he's still having to lift after about 30 laps. And that is the massive amount of time he is losing to the 5 of Kyle Larson currently. Denny Hamlin now up to third. Good battle for third between Hamlin, Elliott, and now Harvick. Again, hopefully the car's not going to be too loose. It is a risk Bell is willing to take. Bell lifts off the exit of 4 just to keep it off the wall. Down to the apron, into the tri-oval, trying to take a shortcut. 80 laps to go at Michigan. 2 stops to the end for Bell. Most of the field has to make 2 stops, but not everybody. Maybe relying on a caution to try and win this race. Hamlin and Harvick all of a sudden 4 seconds back. Briscoe got to the outside of Bell that time. They're side drafting down the back straightaway. And that is going to even slow Bell down more. So he drives it in really deep. Bell will pit next time by at lap 122. As he pulls back in front of the 14 to draft in the tri-oval. 5 seconds off the lead from Kyle Larson in the 5 is the 20 of Bell. Bell can't get the car to turn to the bottom. Briscoe in the 14, clear off turn 2. Bell going to try to draft down the back straightaway. Keep up with the rookie. Bell's starting to gain time on Larson. He's only 4 seconds back. Trying to slingshot back by the 14. He clears him. Drove it in really deep. Bell going to stay out again. He's gaining time, so he really does not want to pit yet. Never mind. The leaderboard was messed up. We're still losing time, I think. I don't know why the leaderboard does that. Let's go to the high side of Bell. Bell lifts to keep it off the 14 as he was getting tight. He'll try to draft down the back straightaway again. I don't think Bell could push him much further on fuel, so he's going to pit this time just to be safe. He's going to have a big run into 3 now underneath the 14 of Chase Briscoe. He's going to hold the inside, though. Briscoe stays wide. Bell will pit off of turn 4, and he's going to try to carry as much speed onto pit road as possible without speeding. 55 miles an hour is the speed limit. And there he is. Into the pits is Bell. Oh, come on, game. Okay. Whew. That wasn't a terrible pit road entry. It's getting worse and worse each time, but it's not spinning out. Bell to short pit again. One more stop from here to the end. May need a caution in the green flag run. And we'll see where Christopher Bell will cycle this time. He cycled out of the pits in 2nd. He would have been 6th the first time around by short pitting. So he's short pitting again to hopefully get to the lead this time around. Press the wrong button trying to shift. We haven't alternated through the different camera angles yet, so maybe I'll do that very, very shortly. Again, a half around a wedge taken out of the car for the 2nd time for Bell today in this 20 team. Back to 16th currently. They have a looser race car, so he's going to want to try to hang on here. Still trying to get up to speed in the tri-oval. Maybe getting up to speed a bit quicker with the draft off the 48 car in front of him. 3 wide as well. Or, sorry, side by side between Reddick and Kurt Busch. Bell side draft in the 48. Couldn't get around him there. They're going to have to lift into turn 3. Bell goes down to the bottom, 3 wide. Barely kept it above that white line. He'll clear Reddick off of turn 4. Just have to see how much time Bell can make up with these fresher tires. On a 4-stop strategy versus 3. For those that can make it on 3 stops. Barely enough room under the 78. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. $125 career wins in Heat. That's insane. Cool if you can get the 200. Well, hits his marks beautifully that time. Second time they made that wedge adjustment. Took a half round out both times, so a full round total. 3 wide to the inside of Custer and Timmy Hill into turn 3. Lifts a little, still gets underneath Keselowski. He'll clear him off of turn 4 and try to get the draft off of Blaney and Austin Dillon in front of him. Under 90 miles an hour down into turns 1 and 2. Blaney pulls low underneath Dillon. Bell to the inside, 3 wide. Slides up the track, barely clears the 12. Stayed in the gas and barely clears the 3 with a block down the back straightaway. Bell has been aggressive pretty much since the halfway mark in this one. We saw that when he was battling Larson for the lead, throwing out major blocks, just trying to stay in the draft, and ended up eventually losing him. He was about 5.5 to 6 seconds behind him before the pit stops. I'm sure that's not going to be the last battle for the lead Bell will be involved with as long as he keeps the car clean to the end of the race. Make a wider entry into 1 and 2. This is marked perfectly again. This might be the perfect setup right now for Christopher Bell. Bell stays in the gas, goes to the outside of the Stuart Haas cars. Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe. Harvick in 5th. Well, side-by-side action for position. Hamlin on the inside had to get out of the gas. Maybe he got tight underneath the 24 of Byron. Chase Elliott in that draft, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th under a blanket. Then, of course, Larson is still the leader. Bell's definitely making up time. We've still got 10 to 20 laps before anybody else pits. Hamlin again trying to pull low to make a pass on Byron. The entire top 5, all playoff drivers now, and they were before Bell pitted as well. So the likelihood of seeing a playoff driver win today very high. We've only seen that once in the first 3 playoff races in the round of 16. 2 non-playoff drivers won the last 2 races in the round of 16. Almirola winning at Nashville and Ross Chastain getting his first career win at Road America. .69 starts, nice. 47 wins. I'm assuming that's like every series combined for both of you guys. Got mid-quarter speed for Bell without having to lift. And there's the 5 of Larson. He's not that much further ahead of Byron and Hamlin. The lap cars Larson's drafting with not as fast as those 4 lead lap cars back there. And there's Bell getting back on the lead lap in case we get a caution. So he's in 14th. He's back on the lead lap. Benedetto for position as well for 13th, just up ahead. Just less than 70 laps to go at MIS. Gonna stay to the high side in 1 and 2, trying to get around to Benedetto. Crosses to the bottom as De Benedetto swings wide to block. Bell with a block down the back straightaway, pulls clear. I have a feeling this is going to come down to the wire for really the first time ever on NASCAR 21 Ignition, that we may have a really good finish. The 550 package races at Michigan have really proved to be, insanely close finishes, really. I think there's only one 550 race at Michigan since 2019 that I can think of that didn't come down to the last lap, and that was Harvick's win in 2019 in the summer, in the August race, more specifically. June race went to overtime. Logano barely won. Blaney barely won on some late race restarts this season. Even on longer green flag runs at the end of the race, the Hamlin and Harvick finishes, or the Hamlin and Harvick finish on the doubleheader, and then the day before between Keselowski and Harvick came down to the wire. Harvick won them both. This has the potential to be that kind of a finish, I believe, here today. Byron has just taken the lead away from Kyle Larson. Byron's led a lot of laps in this one. He might be the fastest of the 3 Hendrick cars. $20 people watching, 18 likes on the stream still. Hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Extremely close to 2.3 thousand, or sorry, 1.3 thousand subscribers on the channel. Really appreciate the amount of traction you guys give me with this YouTube channel. Again, live commentary, live streams for video games, real life races. This is the race that we've been waiting for with NASCAR 21 Ignition, though. It started off ugly. I did not see this coming today, but it has been wild. It has been chaotic. Bell has survived some very near misses. One car in the pit lane. Can't tell who that is up there. 138 this time by for the leaders, and I believe it was Larson. It was. So Bell will cycle ahead of Kyle Larson. He pitted 14 laps before Larson. He pitted about 7-8 laps before him that first run. But that was the difference in Bell cycling ahead of the 5. But now the 5 is going to try to run him down, and especially if he can catch a quicker pack of cars. Bell's all by himself. Still one stop left to the finish. Now we'll alternate through the different camera angles. First time today. Flat out at Michigan. I don't even use Twitter. I'm more active on Instagram. I'm not really active on Twitter. I've only posted one thing. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, though. Bell's getting a little tighter. Had to lift off turn 2. I don't know why the car's getting this tight early in the run. Considering that Bell loosened the car up on the last pit stop. That is concerning. Down to the bottom. Onto the apron. A little slide job to get by the lap cars who pinched him off as they were 3 wide getting into turn 3. A lot of back and forth movement on the analog stick there. I'm glad I didn't overcorrect it. That was dangerous. Bell didn't roll all the way out of the gas that time. Right in the middle of the corner. Got about halfway out of the gas, maybe not even halfway. Just enough to kind of set the car down. A little better in 3 and 4 today, despite that being a sharper angle on corner entry than turns 1 and 2. He does go full throttle on that end of the track, trying to get the momentum back. The race potentially is looking like it is between Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell here today at Michigan. So again, we're keeping an eye on Larson on the leaderboard. He's got 14 lap fresher tires than Bell. Bell has only led about 3 laps this entire race today. It was during that last run. And knowing that Bell and Larson have a rivalry, if it comes down to the final laps between the two of them, it might be checkers or wreckers. You don't want to see that at a very fast racetrack, but it is a video game, so I'm sure each of those two drivers have not forgotten their instances this season. In fact, again, it was just a few races ago at New Hampshire where they had their last incident. That in Dover early in the season. Well, about midway through the regular season. Larson, there he is on the leaderboard. He's about 5 seconds back right now, and he's drafting with some lap cars. Probably a lot faster than him, I'd have to imagine. Definitely going to come down to who's going to have the push at the end with the lap traffic. That's how Larson got around Bell and pulled away. That's how Bell was able to even get around Larson on older tires the last time. But now he's got, again, about 14 lap older tires this time around. Where last run, Christopher Bell had about 7 to 8 lap older tires. So, bit of a difference. Down into turns 1 and 2 underneath Ryan Newman. Cody Ware gets around them both. They're single file, so it made it a little easier for Bell. Had some clean air as well. Still able to go full throttle in 3 and 4 at least. Larson's definitely been caught up in lap traffic because that interval's about 7 seconds now. He's got to be the leader of those lap cars. By the way, Bell cycled back to 9th. Again, it might not be between Bell and Larson too because it is a fuel mileage race for a lot of other drivers. And anybody who really stays out of the pits past lap 150 is going to have an opportunity try and make this race to the end from there. But anybody pitting now and prior to now will definitely have to pit one more time. A little tight off the exit of the corner when Alfredo pulled up in line.
Clear.
Putting dirty air on the front nose of the 20 of Bell. Bell is up to 6, so there's only 5 cars that still have to pit ahead of him. Just a tad getting into 3 and 4 that time to try and turn the car.
You're in the top 5 now.
Bell up to 5th. Beautiful corner by Christopher Bell that time. Another car hitting the pits. Oh, we'll bounce off the wall, okay. Still a little tight. We'll go back to the far chase cam for now. Up to 4th. That was a lead lap car that pit. And there's Michael McDowell in 3rd, so even if he can make it to the end, if Bell gets in front of him, he's going to pace well enough to be able to beat the 34 on speed. He'll pull to the inside into turn 3. Bell having to lift, maybe trying to save so he can get to lap 150. Still get a good finish even if he doesn't win. And now we got about 4 cars coming into the pits off of turn 4. More cars in the pits ahead of them. Bell up to 2nd now. So only the race leader still has to make a stop. And we're at lap 149. It might be the 24 Byron again. I really don't know for sure, but that is the only driver that potentially could beat Larson or Bell. If it stays green to the finish, that is. On the outside of Timmy Hill. Busch pulling up on the racetrack in front of Bell. Still trying to get up to speed. Plenty of time for Bell to get to the inside of Busch into turn 3, though. Kurt's going to have much fresher tires. Probably going to blow right around the 20, I'd have to imagine. If Bell could draft with Kurt Busch, that would be the most ideal situation here. 50 laps to go, so somehow Bell's going to have to make up enough speed to be able to catch whoever is in the lead right now. Kurt Busch to the outside at 1 and 2. There was no chance Bell had of staying in front of Busch. There's one more car between Larson and Bell. That would be the 14 of Briscoe. Larson is down under 5 seconds now. Again, it was 7 between him and Bell. He's probably still going full throttle on 14 lap fresher tires than Chris. A car coming out of the pit lane just up ahead. I believe it's Timmy Hill in the 66. It is. Bell's definitely having to lift a lot in 1 and 2 now. 3 and 4, he's still barely flipping the throttle when he hits his marks perfectly at least. He's got clean air in front of him. Kurt Busch is far enough ahead now. Side by side up there, a couple lap cars. Rivals Bell and Larson. It's going to be a battle for the ages. Spot in the round of 8 of the playoffs on the line between the two. They will definitely be battling for the lead at least one more time. Larson, I would assume, will catch Bell before Bell pits. The longer Bell can stay out, the better. That's really just going to dictate on if Larson gets in front of him and starts to pull away from him or not. Briscoe just blew around the outside of Christopher Bell. Bell drafts him down the back straightaway, but now he's in the dirty air in 3 and 4. You can see the car shove up in the center of the corner. Didn't have to lift any extra, but Briscoe's pulling away. Timmy Hill, Austin Cindric, they actually cycle out of the pit lane right around where Larson's at, so Larson's going to have to get around them now, or draft with them. They're on fresh enough tires. He might be able to just draft with them to get the Bell. I think he's losing just a tad bit of time. Oh, rolls the bottom well in 1 and 2, and now Larson has passed him full. So he has passed Cindric, he has passed Hill. He's 3 seconds behind Bell and closing. Knowing the AI in this game, too, if they come in with a huge amount of speed, we've seen it a couple times where cars have tagged other cars on the corner panel. Luckily, we haven't seen a spin yet. I still don't know what that first caution came out for earlier in the race, but we did have a yellow. And the only thing that can make this race even crazier is if we do get a late race caution, considering the fact that the restarts are insane at Michigan and everything's packed together for pretty much a full run. Well, everybody can make it off field to the end from now. So, it would definitely be interesting. Bell could go as far as lap 166, roughly, before he would have to pit again. He's only made it 43 laps at the most. Guess the window's not quite open for him to the end. Looks like Eric Jones is potentially drafting right now with Kyle Larson. And if he stays behind him and they don't get side by side, Larson will get to Bell a little bit quicker. Down to 2.5 seconds off the exit 2. Look at that pack of cars. It's more than just Larson. Look at that. There is a pack of cars humming off of turn 2. And they are within 2 seconds. They have close to half a second and less than a half a lap on Bell. It's the 43 and the 5, but then there is about 6 to 8 cars even behind them. They'll stay low off the exit of 4. And now Bell is just taking the lead as the leaders finally hit pit road. We don't know who it is that can seemingly make it to the end. Well, here we go. Still have 43 laps to go this time by. Window is open for Bell if he wants to pit now. I think he's going to see if he can hang on to the draft with Larson, but if Larson gets by, he's going to pit. Take Larson out of likely contention to win this race, if I'd have to imagine. Because he's going to have to try to gain time on whoever it is that was leading for that long amount of time before Bell had taken the race lead away. Bell leads this time at the line. This will only be the 6th lap he has led all day long. They're starting last. He's going to try to break the draft, making sure Larson's not going to have enough. But Larson's got help from behind, and he's got fresher tires, so it's a lose-lose situation for Bell anyway. Trying to arc it off into turns 1 and 2. Kyle Larson is coming on the high side. Larson is there. Bell's going to try to get in line, but he can't do it. No, Jones lets him in. Jones let Bell in. Bell's going to draft behind Larson. He's going to try not to let the 5 car pull away. He's going to drive it deep down into turns 3 and 4. To the inside. Side by side for the race lead up turn 4 as they almost make contact. Bell had to lift to keep it off the 5. Now he drops in line behind him again. Very close to making contact off of turn 4. It won't take much to turn these cars around. Bell just does not have the race car. Up the track he goes. Tight in turns 1 and 2. Larson's getting away. Maybe the hope now is McDowell gets alongside the 5. I think he has fresher tires. Oh, yeah, he's got a lot fresher tires. That's right. A lot fresher tires than not only Bell, but Larson as well. Look at McDowell close in on Larson. He's going to pull low. Bell can only go about 6 more laps on fuel anyway. McDowell and Larson are side by side right now. They are slowing each other up into turns 1 and 2. But now McDowell clears Larson. Bell's getting trained right now by a lot of race cars. Alfredo is up there. Bell moves in line between Alfredo and Timmy Hill. All these cars probably going to try to pass Larson.
Got one right. All clear.
Bell to the inside. He's not going to clear the 38. That was his hope. Now he's stuck on the bottom with no help. Oh, Harvick's going to pull down to help him. Harvick pulls down. He's in 3rd. So Harvick and Elliott and Hamlin have all drafted up to Bell. And they draft up to Larson.
Here we go.
Bell back to third. Trying to block Hamlin and Elliott off turn 2. Nothing but dirty air in front of the 20 of Bell again. Hamlin coming with a run on the high side. Bell goes up to try and block. Back down to the bottom now to block the 11. Big time blocks. And Kyle Larson is definitely racing really hard with those lap cars further up in front of the field. Bell trying to hold down in front of the 11. Here comes Elliott on the high side. He gets around for third. Bell stays in front of his teammate. Bell's going to have to... He's going to have to pit. Bell's going to pit right now. He's going to make sure he gets down to the bottom lane in turns 3 and 4. He's already on the apron of the racetrack. Running a little slower. No adjustments for Christopher Bell this time. 4 tires and fuel. Oh, game. Get into the box. Get into the box. That's going to cost Bell a little bit of time, but maybe a second or two. That's about it. Car's still clean. Final stop of the day for Christopher Bell. Short pitting at the end of the race to try to cycle to the front. One driver we know can make it on fuel to the end, so he's going to try to gain time on fresher tires for a longer period of time. He's going to have about 37 laps to go when he makes his way out of the pit lane. And again, I'm not even sure who that other driver is that can make it. This is going to be intense to the finish. It wants to be a little easy coming out of the pits. Try not to spin the race car out. Bell's going to pull up on the track. That might be a little risky right now. Well, he's going to stay to the bottom. He's going to stay to the bottom. As they go too wide to the outside of him, he's going to try to stay in the draft, but he's just not up to speed in time. Really close, but not quite there. He's going to have fresher tires and likely blow around these guys anyway. Fans are more cheerful in this game. The Heat Series. You couldn't even hear the fans in the Heat Series, could you? Maybe you could. I think I might have had it turned down. I can't remember. They are a lot more cheerful. Well, they're cheerful in this race specifically because this is like the first time we've legitimately had kind of a natural race play out. There hasn't been any scoring glitches, even during the one caution. Like, everything is played out naturally, even with a yellow. Which I think is the first time really ever with a caution in this game. Oh, man. Blaney to the inside. He blocks Bell and almost turned himself.
All right, hold your line. Clear, clear. Got one right. Clear, clear. Car right. Clear, clear, clear.
Slowing the speed down to the 20.
Clear all around.
A little loose to the inside. 3 wide underneath Austin Dillon. Matt DiBenedetto. Pass on Matty D was for position. Bell to 14th. Hops in line now between Busch and Dillon in the tri-oval. Keselowski in 5th as well. Michigan native. Bell's got a little drafting help now. Busch is going to pull to the bottom. Bell's going to pull even lower to take it 3 wide. He wants to lead this group off turn 2. Slide job up on the 18 and the 2. He clears them both. He needs to go on the fresh tires. He's going to have a lot of ground just to gain right now during this run before everybody else pits if he's going to want to be able to even cycle to the lead or have a big enough lead over those guys that he's going to be able to hang on to the end. Bare minimum is going to be a battle for second. It's going to be a great one because we got about 4 or 5 cars that were under a blanket before Bell pit. All within 2 seconds of each other. First and only caution of the race again was back at lap 49. I'll tell you what, that section of the grandstands on the pit road entry and the tri-oval is empty. They have missed a dandy of a race. Well, comment down below. Who do you think's going to win this one? We don't know who's the driver that can make it on field to the end outside of Bell. Bell is the one of only 2 drivers who have short pitted to the end of the race. I'm not sure who it was earlier that did short pit or if Bell's even going to be able to catch him. So just say other driver if you don't have a specific pick, but you think it's going to be that guy winning the race, or comment if you think it's going to be Bell, Larson. We saw Hamlin, Byron up there in the mix. Elliott was in the mix. Austin Dillon's in 5th right now. I don't think Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, I don't think any of those guys we just passed back there were any of the drivers that can make it on fuel. And I know it wasn't DiBenedetto either, because we passed him. It's not McDowell, who I know is ahead of us right now. There's something that keeps glitching middle of the back straightaway since I came out of the pits that last time, and I don't know what it is. I can't tell if it's like trees or virtual wrecked race cars, like ghost cars. Oh man, good thing Bell's got fresh tires. I mean, you can't hook that white line any better than he did right there. He didn't have dirty air because it didn't go down low enough, and Bell couldn't go any lower. Larson cycled back to 4th, but he's been pitting even before the 3 cars that are ahead of him right now. And he's also been pitting after Bell, obviously. But he still scored in 4th. The longer they wait to pit, the bigger the lead Bell's going to have. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race as we have 28 laps to go. Michigan International Speedway. There's Larson all by himself. He's only 2.5 seconds ahead of Bell. Bell a lap behind Larson currently. And then the lead pack is another 2 to 2.5 seconds ahead of Kyle Larson. They'll full throttle around the track. They are not on older tires. They'll pitted 10 laps ago already. Pit at lap 163. Might be able to drop behind Larson down the back straightaway. We'll have to wait and see. Oh yeah, good corner 1 and 2. He's definitely going to be able to draft Larson down the backstretch. Well, that'll get a speed up for this straightaway. He'll pull out a line to the inside of Larson. And down into turn 3 they go. Flip the throttle with that flatter entry into the corner. Just trying to be safe here. You want to push it as hard as you can. You don't want to wreck the car. Take yourself out of at least a guaranteed top 10. Mainly because it is the playoffs. Bell, the most winningest driver still to this point this year, with 6 wins. Next closest is Kyle Busch, who has 4 wins. Pass on Ryan Newman down the backstretch into 3 for Bell. Elliott 3rd, Hamlin 2nd. That means Kevin Harvick is the leader. And there is the top 3 up ahead, drafting each other right now. I think Larson's going to have to pit pretty soon if he's even going to want to cycle ahead of those other 3 drivers, because he is still losing time with no drafting help versus these guys having drafting help. The only reason Bell's even able to catch these guys remotely is the fresh tires. They're racing each other hard, though, knowing it could be for the eventual win. We don't know how things will maybe even space apart under the next stops, if they're even going to be able to cycle with one another. Well, not quite close enough to draft in the tri-oval. Should be able to down the back straightaway, though. Oh, has to lift in the dirty air. Behind the 14 of Briscoe, he's got to lift even more off the exit of the corner. He's got drafting help to get some speed back. Oh, it's a truck. It's like a Jeep that's like parked on the backstretch. I used the look back cam to make sure I was clear of the 14. It's like a Jeep of some sort. I don't know what that is. Well, Bell hops in line between Elliott and Harvick. Hamlin going to pull out of line, trying to make a pass on Elliott. Elliott pulls out of line, maybe trying to make a pass on Bell. Bell to the inside of Harvick into turns 1 and 2. Barely has to lift compared to the rest of the field. I really did it out of safety precaution. He'll clear Harvick now. Yeah, I'm going to use the look back cam again down the back straightaway. I thought it was like a Busch or maybe a race car. Oh, you can't really see with the other cars in the way. If we get back in the open, I'll look again. But it looked like it was a Jeep. Or like an army truck. Swear I'm not hallucinating. I don't feel tired at all, so I don't know what that was. See if we can look at it. Yeah, it is a Jeep. It's a Jeep. It's either, no, it might be a pickup truck. It's either a Jeep or a pickup truck, one or the other. Never seen that before. He's got Eric Jones. Michael McDowell in front of him. McDowell for position. You know Michael's going to have to pit before the end of the race again. Bell's going to purposely stay low into turn 1. He's going to get around Christopher. Or Christopher's going to get around Michael, I should say. I wonder if Kurt Busch might be that driver we're racing right now. He's in 10th. I mean, really, any driver with pass per position outside of McDowell from here to the end could be that other driver that can make it off field to the end. However it is, we know Bell's going to have fresher tires than them. The truck on the track glitch. That's what we'll call it. The bad news right now, Bell is not pulling away from Harvick. The 3 fastest cars on the track on old tires are all drafting with each other, and Bell is not pulling away hardly at all. Oh, down into turn 3. He's got to get on the brakes, and he still gets into the back of BJ McLeod. That's going to slow Bell down a little bit again. There's Kurt Busch for position up the way. Great run through 1 and 2 that time for Bell. He'll pull to the inside of Kurt Busch down the back straightaway. A little side draft. He'll pull away from him now. They'll clear him now well before they get into turn 3. Bell inside the top 10. And at least 8 cars in front of him still have to pit. $18 laps to go. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race next time we cross the start-finish line. More scattered lap traffic up ahead. At least Bell doesn't have to go a full run to the end. He's got to go 37 laps. Full run for him has been 43 today. Excuse me. Don't want to go anywhere. This is going to be a wild finish. Here today at Michigan, we're 17 laps away on this fast 2-mile tri-oval from seeing who will advance to the round of 8 of the playoffs. Elliott, Hamlin battling for the lead. They're about 5 seconds behind Bell now. Still haven't seen anybody else pit. I don't know if Larson's pit or not yet. I would have to imagine probably has. I mean, as of right now, Bell would have 20 lap older tires than everybody else if they pit now. They're probably staying out just in case they get a caution, and I don't think I blame them for that. He's got to run on Gase and Balicki, 2 Rick Ware cars trying to draft down the back, or sorry, the front stretch rather. A little bit awkward entry into turn 1 because he did not clear the 52 until the corner entry. Oh, a massive, massive run. Goes to the bottom. Big run underneath Custer and Haley. A little clean air in front of the 20. Poor Martin Truex Jr. is back at 36. I wonder if he's still on the track. Because if he's out of the race, tough break for him. He came in below the cutoff line on a tiebreaker to start this round of the playoffs. And he may put himself in a must-win situation at either Homestead tomorrow night, well, Homestead and Daytona, the next 2 races combined. He's going to want to get out of the round of 12. I want to see you guys down in the chat getting hyped for the finish of this one. We have waited over a month of daily gameplay on NASCAR 21 Ignition to get a race to play naturally and come out to the conclusion in dramatic fashion. And what better time than to have that in the playoffs? All between playoff drivers and the first race of the round of 12 at high speeds at Michigan. Put on a show so far. Just slowly pulling away from those guys that are still drafting back there that have not pit. Those fastest cars of Hamlin, Elliott, and Harvick. Larson was losing them. I'm not sure if he's on pressured tires or not yet if he has pit. And there's one driver that can make it to the end on fuel that is not Christopher Bell that could potentially be ahead of him. Might not be ahead of him. We really don't know. Even if the leaderboard was completely accurate, I don't really think we'd know unless... Well, we would by the time everything cycles through. We would know who it is. If they are even ahead of us anymore. It could have been Kurt Busch. He's the only one I can think of the cars we have passed since making our last stop that it could have been. But I don't think it was Kurt. It could have been, but I don't think it was. Yeah, Larson's pit already because he has scored 11th, 6.5 seconds behind Bell. Those 2 are rivals. So Larson going to try to run Bell down. He's got at least 20 lap pressure tires right now than Christopher. He's going to be closing in pretty quick. It's going to be longer laps, 11 to go, considering this is a 2-mile tri-oval. Don't know if Larson's drafted with anybody currently. 2x2 traffic for Christopher Bell. 3 wide now, getting into turns 3 and 4. Hauff was about half a lane down on the apron. He'll wash up the track. Bowman's got nowhere to go behind these guys. Schneider carries a lot of momentum. Off turn 4, he'll clear Suarez at the front of this group in the tri-oval. They're slowing each other down immensely. 10 laps to go now at Michigan. Bell is in 8th. We had 2 lead lap cars pit that last time by. We know if there is going to be somebody that cycles ahead of Bell, it will be someone on older tires, so it's not going to be impossible that Bell can run them down to the finish. 9 laps to go. Another car just hit pit road that lap. Bell now to 7th. They're going to have fresher tires than Bell than any of the other 2 green tire stints during this green flag run. It's a caution at lap 49, but they're going to also have less laps to get there. They're not going to have a full Christopher Bell fuel run to get there. They're only going to have, from right now, 9 more laps. 2 more cars hit the pit lane off of turn 4. Looks like 3, in fact. A lot of other lap cars. Some of them were lead lap cars. Bell is now up to 4th, 3rd. Top 2 still on the track. One of them, at least, will still have to pit. Bell gets really tight 1 and 2, making the pass on Reddick. Reddick back to the inside. Bell does not want somebody on his corner panel right now. Reddick back at 34th. That might have slowed him down a little bit. He definitely had to lift quite a bit off the exit of turn 2 as well, which would have hurt him his speed in and of itself. 7 laps to go. Up to 2nd place is Bell. Will that last car in front of him in the lead have to pit? And if so, then could Bell be able to hold off Larson and the rest of the field coming in at high speeds behind him? Bell off the exit of turn 4, just going to have to stay high, 3 wide. Cindric almost squeezed LaJoie into Bell, but Bell hangs on strong. William Byron is the leader. Byron, I figured, was going to be the driver if there was one ahead of Bell. Byron is 5.5 seconds ahead on older tires than Bell, but Bell's only got 5.5 laps to run him down. Does he have enough time? So Byron is the driver that is good on fuel to the end. He's trying to lock himself in, outsmarting the entire field, really. He would be the only driver to make it on 3 pit stops to the end of the race.
5 more strong laps.
But 5 laps is 10 miles at Michigan. That's a long way to go. Bell's got fresher tires, but he is having to lift in the corner. It's not like his tires are way fresher than Byron's. Probably 10 laps at the very most. Versus everybody behind him's got 20 to 25 lap pressure tires than Bell. 30 to 35 lap pressure tires than even the 24 of William Byron. Byron's going to try to draft as many cars as he possibly can right now. Larson's still not within 4.5 seconds of Bell yet. With only 4 to go, it's going to be tough for them to catch Christopher Bell to the end. I think Bell's got enough pace to be able to hold on. Larson's actually exactly 5 seconds back, it looked like, going into turn 1. Well, okay, I'll hold on a second, because Larson might have his teammate Bowman to draft with right now. We saw how fast those Hendrick cars when they drafted together earlier in the race. Byron now only 3.5 seconds ahead of Christopher Bell. And it looks like he is 2 and almost 3 wide off the exit of turn 4 up there. Now he morphs in line single file at the start-finish line. So 3.5 seconds with 3 to go. Bell on fresher tires, trying to catch William Byron. Larson into one that last lap, not this lap, but the lap before. We've been 5 seconds back on Bell. Bell's definitely faster in 3 and 4. I just don't think he's got enough. And Briscoe is now drafting with Byron, and that has allowed Byron to only lose 0.5 second that last lap. Bell needs Briscoe to get alongside William and fast. And he's going to try, and they're side by side in turns 1 and 2. Byron's going to let him go. He's going to try to draft behind him down the back straightaway. Bell is less than 3 seconds off the lead. He is trying to close, but I don't think he's got enough laps. Now he's got drafting help. Bell's got drafting help. Corey LaJoie is in line behind him. Is that drafting help from the 20 enough to catch Byron? He's going to have to be about 2 seconds quicker on the final lap of the race. Byron's got 2.5 seconds and 2 miles to pay dirt. And I think Byron's got just enough pace. Chase Elliott's gotten around Larson for third. He's 2 seconds behind Bell going into turn 3. Byron is going to outclass the field. A fuel mileage race at Michigan. He's the only one that's going to make it. And he had 2 seconds extra to spare. Checkered flag waves. Byron wins at Michigan. He's going to the round of 8. Christopher Bell second, just a few laps shy. He was running Byron down, but he didn't have enough laps. 1.9 seconds off the lead. Chase Elliott finishes third. Kyle Larson fourth. Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 5. Denny Hamlin 6th. Kyle Busch 7th. Brad Keselowski 8th. Austin Dillon 9th. Ryan Blaney rounds out the top 10 today, and only 10 drivers finished on the lead lap here at Michigan. The only thing I could think of that I could have done is what if maybe I pitted like a lap or 2 sooner. I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference, because at most we had 10 lap fresher tires. At the most. If I had to guess, it was probably closer to maybe 6 or 7 lap fresher tires. It's probably another reason why we were only closing in a couple tenths a lap at the most, too. Byron makes it on 3 stops. Everybody else had to take 4. Bell tried short pitting each of the last 3 just to try to cut the time off after starting last. A good point stay nonetheless to start the round. But Byron, who came in 2 points above the cutoff line, that's clutch for him. Clutch win for him. It's his 2nd win of the season. What a race. What a race. We'll see where the other playoff drivers finished. Alex Bowman, outside of the ones outside of the top 10, would have been Alex Bowman in 12th, Kurt Busch in 13th. And I think the only other one outside the top 10 would have been Truex. And Truex finished 36th. DNF'd halfway through the race, it looked like. Oh, Tyler Reddick as well. Reddick finished 7 laps down in 34th. Poor performance for Tyler Reddick and Martin Truex Jr., and they're going to put themselves in nearly a must-win situation between Daytona and tomorrow night at Homestead. Steelers NASCAR fan 50, welcome to the stream. Want a drivable hauler NASCAR 22. It's kind of a random thing to want to have in a NASCAR video game. Yeah, Byron wins at Michigan. That's just, I can't believe he made it. The only reason I think he had enough fuel to be able to make it to the end was because of that one caution we had earlier in the race. It's got to be the only way he was able to make it, because he only pitted, if I had to guess, 6-7 laps before us, and we could go 43 laps on fuel, and we pitted with 37 to go. So he was right at that window, but obviously if we didn't have a caution earlier in the race, he was the only one that was able to stretch it. And I think he was able to stretch it because he might not have pit before the caution wave, because that caution was in the middle of green flag stops. But see how entertaining a race could be in this game if it just plays out naturally? It's just so hard with the full races. But this was definitely the best race we've had. The only glitch we had in that race was that pickup truck on the back straightaway. But it was a ghost truck though, so, and it would disappear well before we got to it. And it was really only since like the last pit stop. We didn't see it before that. Wow. Or like a non-glitchy NASCAR game, that'd be worth buying. That is very true. That's very true. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Well, again, next race tomorrow night at Homestead. We're going to have to be super patient in that race, because it's another 400 miler, but I am not turning stability help on. I raced there in the career mode without stability help, so I will race there without stability help tomorrow. We have not raced at Homestead yet in the custom schedule season, but I have raced a full race there in the career. Well, I attempted a full race. I did crash out with about, 40 laps to go or something at the end. I made it over 200 laps. But we'll see. The only reason I didn't even crash out at the end of the race. It was that pace car glitch, the caution glitch, why I ended up DNFing. Finished 22nd, I believe. Hopefully we finish better than that for the points' sake. We didn't win, but there were only 4 playoff drivers that finished outside the top 10 today, so we didn't gain many points on the cutoff line, but we should be just above 20. You can check out the community tab. I don't know when exactly I'm going to have the points out by tomorrow at the latest, tomorrow morning at the latest, but keep an eye out in the community tab. I'll have our points updated. This will be the same points going into tomorrow's race at Homestead for the second race of the round of 12. Career mode video out for NASCAR 21 Ignition at Martinsville right now. Highlight video. It's about 15 minutes. And I will have another video uploaded tonight of the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Racing 2002 career mode. Definitely go check race number 1 or episode number 1. And then check out episode 2 later tonight. It is a really fun game. It is a wild game. The racing not only is great in there, but I mean the crashes they're the most realistic, I think, of any other game I've seen. But they are not only realistic, but obviously with open wheel dirt cars, it can get pretty ugly. So The only thing not realistic with it is the fact that the cautions don't always wave. So you can see a flip like that and have debris on the track, and you're just kind of trying to avoid it and stuff. But it's definitely a lot of fun. You should definitely check it out. I'm having a lot of fun with it. No realistic commentary for that, but everything else, usually what we do is realistic commentary. So again, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night.